Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's up, family? How you guys doing? Hello and welcome to 101 with CST Gaming. And our special guest here today, Mr. Blu Games himself, man. Before we get him going here, I want to say welcome to Plane Spotter, Alan. Welcome, Turbo, my man. What's up, brother? Welcome on stream and chat. Bobby, asking, aka Pedals. If, by the way, guys, if my microphone does not sound good today, please blame Bobby. All right, he's my my audio engineer today, and he got me all fixed up. He says, right. So if anything doesn't work, we can go ahead and penalize Bobby for that. But thanks, Bobby. Appreciate you, man. Aviation Gaming is in the house. We got Andy Boyce. What's up, man? Big up. How you doing, brother? Thank you for stopping by. And on Flight Simmer, as always, Mamba, my dude. ALZFS, the myth, the legend. Guys, welcome. Hopefully, we'll get more people here strolling in. Get your questions, get your comments ready for Mr. Blu Games and myself. If you got any questions for me, you all know who I am, so we'll skip the formality on that part. But however, I'd like to take a minute to give my good friend Blu Games the mic and tell us briefly a little bit about yourself, man.
What up? What up? What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Blu, and I don't never understand or know how to introduce myself. But basically, I like flight sim, aviation games, simulator games. I do YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, uh, aspiring pilot, DCS, all that kind of stuff. That's, I guess, in a nutshell, who I am, what I do here in the community.
Awesome. Well, Blue Games, first and foremost, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and coming on here on 101. Something a little new I'm trying to do to get obviously people like you and XP and Captain Canada. They don't need so much exposure, but there's going to be some people that will need exposure in the flashing community, and I'm trying to kind of like close the loop on the flat sim
Yeah.
community, if you know what I mean, with all the different content creators and aspiring content creators, and maybe bring some people like you and XP and Captain Canada to kind of talk about what it takes to get to a certain point, how hard or easy is it, all that good stuff. So again, I appreciate you being on today. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. Another thing I
Yeah,
like to
man.
bring up is I just met you at the Flight Sim Expo. Like I didn't know who you were before. I watched a bunch of your videos and streams, obviously before the expo, but we never formally met one on one, right? So just a little quick 2 minute story is I get to the expo. It was a little early. I think it was still what was it, Friday or Thursday? I think it was Thursday, the day
Thursday. Yeah.
before. It was Thursday. So I get there. I don't know anybody, right? I know that Owls was gonna be there. I'm pretty one on one with Owls and some other people, Mickey D. Mike. But however, Owls wasn't there yet. Mickey D. Mike was at work, so he couldn't really do anything. He came along afterwards. But literally, I was outside of the main lobby, waiting for my time to check in because I couldn't even check into the room, and I didn't know what to do with myself. All of a sudden, I see this person walking by, and I'm like, oh, Blue, is that you? And he looks at me, and first of all, the first thing that really caught me by surprise was the fact that you knew exactly who I was. Number one, I was like, CST. I'm like, oh shit, right? So that was the first thing, right? I'm like, oh, okay, so this guy knows me. So we met, and we literally spent what the good part of that day
We spent most
together,
of the day together.
most of the day together. We were just waiting on the room to check in. Mickey and Mike came by to pick us up. He took us to get some what was it, brunch, I think, that day. We got some
Hmm.
brunch. So it was a good time.
Massive
So
pancakes.
massive pain. I couldn't even got I got to like half of it, I think, and I
Hmm.
was done. But yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that, man. It goes to show you how cool this community is, right? How close people can get. And like I said, if it wasn't for Blue walking by that day, I would have been probably out there smoking 3 packs of cigarettes by myself, waiting on my room to open up, right? So
Yeah, man, we got to
that,
kick
that
it
was
by the
awesome.
pool and all kind
Yeah,
of stuff,
yeah.
man. It was good.
Well,
Yeah. I
we're
was
just
glad to
kicking it,
meet you
man.
at that point too, because I mean, I
Uh,
wasn't, I always come a day early-ish, to Flight
yeah,
Sim Expo because I've always seen a lot of value in coming early. I always usually end up meeting somebody or running into somebody that's there for Flight Sim, and we end up talking, and just like we did,
yeah,
spending the whole day together just chatting
pretty
about
much,
Flight
yeah.
Sim or whatever it is. And so it was really cool to meet you and see you there and be able to hang
Awesome.
out. And we got to um, go out to
The
eat.
Grand
I believe
Canyon.
didn't we go to the
The
Grand
Grand
Canyon
Canyon.
together as
Yeah,
well?
the Grand
Yeah.
Canyon.
So I mean, it was none
Yeah.
of that would have happened, right? Unless we would
Nope.
have
At all, dude. Not at all.
connected. So that
Like
was dope, man.
I wasn't even planning to go into the Grand Canyon until you're like, "Hey, man,
Neither was I.
hey, I just got a phone call. You want to tag along?" I'm like, "Sure, I got nothing else going on." And so
I
yeah, that
literally
was
had no plans that
absolutely,
day. I was like, I'm just gonna show up and we're gonna see what happens. And we ended up going to the freaking Grand Canyon of all places, which I never thought I'd
uh,
get to go there in my
yeah,
life. So that was
yeah.
pretty cool.
Funny you say that. All the time we've been here, right? Well, you from birth, me from my late teenage years. Um, Never been to the Grand Canyon. That was the first time for me going to the Grand Canyon. Right? I guess it's one of those bucket list type things. But anyway, that was great fun, man. And again, I really do appreciate you actually being funny enough and just inviting me along. And actually having something to do, man. So that was awesome. Um, all right, well, let's start with this, Blue. I think especially in the last couple of days, there's been a lot of talk within the community. I'm not going to say my community. I'm just going to say the community, right? Whether it's people from XP channel or Mr. Canada or whoever, right? We all pretty much know the same people. But I've been talking to some folks that popped in streams, and the big elephant in the room is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Now, we all know, by now that the NDA has been lifted, and you were one of the lucky few, I would say, to be able to go down there and kind of firsthand talk to I always butcher his name. What's his name? George? Is it George? The Microsoft guy? What's
Oh,
his name?
Jorg.
York.
Jorg.
York, dude. I
Yeah.
when I met him at the expo and I shook his hand, I was like, "Hey, what's going on, George?" And he's all like, he looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I probably messed his name up.
I mean, if you look at
So,
his name on paper, it looks like Jorg, but yeah,
but anyways,
Jorg.
so York, and then you also talked to the Asobo CEO as well. What is it, Rick? I forget what his name is. Anyways, so you've had some very cool first end discussion with some people, and you got to put your hands on what I would consider is a very, very drained out, early access, couldn't do much version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, right? Just by
Yep.
the looks of it, a lot of the stuff was locked out, gray out. You couldn't have picked whatever planes you wanted, right? Um,
Yep.
so I kind of want you to, because I've already talked to XP and I kind of know this stuff, but I don't think we talked about it during the first one-on-one that I had with him. Um, can you elaborate exactly, hey, this is what happened. I got there this morning, then I had this much time on a presentation, then I had this much time on the sim, so this is what I was able to do, yada yada. Because a lot of I think there's a lot of people out there that think that you got to spend a whole day in front of the sim and you got to do whatever it is that you wanted to. I kind of want you to clarify on that and open up some of these people's eyes. um, hey, this is legitimately what happened that day, right? So this is the allotment of time that I had. It was a great experience, however, comma, right? If you could.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So basically, it was a 1 day event. It was a week long though. So they had, I think it was Monday through Thursday. Each day they had a different group of 40 to 50 media and content creators here at this hotel to kind of preview the sim. And so I was there on the first day, which happened to be on a Monday. So I flew out on Sunday. So day one, which for me was Sunday, was more of a travel day. I got there around Sunday afternoon. A lot of people, some people came a little early, but I got there Sunday afternoon and um, didn't really have any plans. They didn't have anything for us to do that day. There was a restaurant nearby, so some of us, met together. It was a bunch of YouTubers and streamers who were there, and we kind of like saw each other at the hotel really quickly and was like, hey, let's go to the steakhouse place. We did that the first night. Next day was a full day. The whole schedule was packed from like 6 a.m. to like whatever time at night that we ended. And the first thing on order of business was to go out and do the Grand Canyon Humvee tour. So, and this is all, everyone had the option to do this. So we all went out there on like three massive Humvees. And they took us out around the Grand Canyon, kind of like a private tour. It was pretty cool. Had the Humvees packed with people in it, and they had them talking to us about everything that we saw. We got out, took pictures of the Grand Canyon at a few different locations, and then when we got back from that, we went back to the hotel, which is where the main event was at. And then we basically went upstairs, kind of had a short bit of waiting period time, but then we went basically into the presentation room, and that's where they actually did a whole the CEO and Jorg and everybody did a whole presentation and slideshow of all of the details that went into Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And so we sat in that room. It was kind of like a movie premiere style feel. Like it's like this big dark room with these massive screens in it. And we're all sitting here side by side. And I mean, I'm telling you, man, we had chills, bro. Like all of us, you could tell everybody's faces that we were all just like super high anticipation of what we were about to see. Because most of us had never been to anything like this before, especially me. And so it was really cool feeling, we were all kind of like, it's almost like you're nervous for something because like you want it to be good, right? And but you
Right.
don't know. We didn't know anything. So anyways, so we're in the room. They had like really cool little green room for us as well for us to have snacks. I mean, they really took care of us. Matter of fact, let's rewind back for a second. When I landed at where did I land at? Flagstaff Airport. There was a guy at the pickup area with a sign on it with my name on it. I've never had someone at the airport with my name on the sign before saying, "Hey, I'm your ride." Like that's never happened. That's so freaking cool.
Blue
He
was
was
it Blue
wearing all
Games?
black.
Was it Blue Games or was it
No,
actually
it was
your
my
name?
real name.
Okay.
It was my real name. They had all of our real names on there, but still, just so cool. It was like, man, I've
Right.
never been this so important to have like my name and to show up
Feel
at the
like a
airport. Like,
celebrity,
hey,
right?
I'm
You
your
feel like a
ride.
celebrity, yeah.
For real, man. And that airport was tiny, but anyway, so yeah, we on that part when I arrived, had my name on it. Guy takes me to the car, super expensive, super fancy, suited up car. It was like some kind of Beamer with a super fancy interior. We had a good 90-minute drive to was it 90 minute? Yeah, 90-minute drive back to where we were going, but it was just super nice. So red carpet laid out. So fast forward back to the day of the event. So right before presentation, they had a nice green room with snacks laid out, coffee, all kind of stuff like that. They even gave us breakfast. And then we go to the presentation room. They do a presentation. It lasts about an hour. That presentation of going through everything. And then once that's over, now it's gameplay time. So now we're getting up and we can get to go into the room, which is right next to that. We all get to have some gameplay time, which was planned to be an hour long of gameplay time. So all the time that they had scheduled for us to actually spend on the game or on the sim to actually do recording and testing and things like that. So we go over there. Each computer is like this big room. Each computer has our name on it. Matter of fact, let me show you something. Stand by. Hold
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
on.
Uh-oh. We got memorabilia, guys. Memorabilia. There you go. Oh, look at
Okay, I couldn't show this
that.
before. I couldn't show this before because we
Bro,
were
it's
under
got the
NDA.
Microsoft Simulator logo. Look at that.
Bro, so every computer station had their name. I know it might be backwards on your screen, I'm not sure. But had the Microsoft Flight Sim logo has your name on it. So whatever name you gave them, they put that name on there. They also gave you like a little lanyard with your name on it as well as we
Nice.
got a really cool goodie gift bag thing that we were given with a bunch of free stuff in it. So it was really cool. But they gave us also a SSD, a 500 gigabyte SSD drive to keep. And so we were supposed to plug that SSD drive into the PC that we were assigned, right? And then they gave us a little, not they didn't give it to us, but they had a little recording thing on the desk. And so we just hit record on that and it would record all of our gameplay footage to that SSD drive. I thought this was super well organized personally. I was like, this is so cool. Like, not only
Right.
do I get to play the game early, but also you guys are giving me an SSD drive that's literally sitting right here. I'm not going to unplug it because I'm not sure what's what's on there.
You're good.
But they give us SSD drive, so we're recording all everybody record their own authentic footage. Right, we want to see what we want to see. There was nothing they told us not to look at, not to show. You'll see in some people's videos, you'll see like a red guy with his hand up like this. That's because on our day, on the first day, there was a really bad bug with the character creation tool,
The red
and
guy. Yep.
yeah, Red Man. I call him Red Man.
Red
And
man.
so it was really bad. It was really bad bug what they didn't see before they set these computers up. Anyway, so a lot of footage had these red guys standing on the chair with a thumbs up, and it also was crashing people's computers and things like that. It was actually kind of hilarious, but also a bit annoying, right? Because we're all there. We have a limited amount of time. We only have an hour to record, footage for our YouTube, our channels back at home. And so I was like, dang, like I don't want to use any of this footage with the red man in it. So anyway, so yeah, we had an hour. That was it. We could do whatever we wanted. We weren't really supposed to record like um, voice audio at the time. It was mainly just capture B-roll, take it home, edit, put voiceover on top of it. So that's kind of what the
Got it.
rules were. Anyway, so that ends. Well, first of all, that kind of issue with the bug lasted, I want to say, about an hour. Honestly, the whole time we had that issue, and so we went to lunch, and then after lunch, we then had interviews, which is what the interviews you're now seeing online.
Yep.
Everybody had a section of time where they got to do interviews with all of the developers, which is really nice. We could ask literally anything. There was no questions off limits. There was really nothing they won't answer. There's some things that they want to do in the future they didn't want to confirm, right? But there's nothing really that they didn't want to answer. So they paired us up in twos. I was partnered with Mover, and we went to all different things. So, anyways, that was the interview. After the interview, we went and did the helicopter ride. Or some people went and did the Vision Jet. It depends on which one you did. And so I did the helicopter ride around the Grand Canyon. Freaking amazing
Nice.
experience. Would highly
Nice.
recommend to anybody. And that's a video I got to work on eventually. But I got pictures and stuff like that I need to share. But super cool experience. We got back from that. And then basically it was really it. That was kind of like the last thing. Then we had like a bit of we went back to the presentation room one more time and got together to kind of say like so for them to say thank you, like thank you for coming, and this is kind of like the what's going on from here on out. This is what you can expect. Kind of a reminder of the NDA, right?
Right.
Things like that. But then it's kind of like it was cool. So after that, we basically were good. We went to dinner and had like a little like mixer like happy hour thing right after. Let me tell you what I did though. What I did, because right after lunch, they actually fixed the red man issue, the character
Okay.
issue. And so I did not have another chance to go back and like all my gameplay just had the red man in it. And it was annoying to
Hmm.
me. I was like, this is unusable in my opinion. And
Right.
so I was like, I gotta get back and record some better stuff. And so at that point, after the final kind of goodbyes, the computer room was still there, right? The computers were still there, still set up. I've already done interviews. I've done my helicopter ride. I've done everything else. There's nothing else for me to do. All we have left is happy hour. And I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna go back and play the game, play the sim. Like if the computer's open, I'm gonna play the sim. Because I mean, whether I need footage or not, like I want to get more time on the sim and understand it better and what's going on. So I go back. I won't say I sneak back, but I kind of snuck back there because they didn't say we could go, but they also didn't say we couldn't go. But they
Right. Right.
also were very okay with us going back to re-record footage because they knew that we lost a lot of quality time earlier with the bug that we ran
With the
into with
bug, yeah.
people getting their PC crashing. So they were chill about it. They weren't strict or anything like that. So I went back over there. A few other people also went back to record things. I literally deleted all of my old footage that I had recorded in that first hour because I was unhappy with it. And I went back and I re-recorded everything from there. And that's why all the videos you see me have out now. So, they literally had to kick me out of that room. I would not leave, bro. I was in there. I was trying to play career mode. I was trying to go through the menus. I was trying to check out the max. Not just doing various things, just wanted to check it out, walk around mode, everything. And they literally had to kick me out. I mean, they were like, I had like the community team that were there, kind of helping with the computers, like sitting behind me, waiting for me to get up and leave so they could turn them off. And I was like, I know you guys are trying to inch your way over here to trying to give me the signal that I gotta go, but I'm not gonna leave till you tell me to leave.
Yeah. Yep. They're trying to
You
be
know, I mean,
polite, right? They're trying to be
yeah,
polite. They're
they,
like,
they and they were polite.
they're
They were
just
polite. They
they're
were
just
never
looking
like,
at
"Hey,
you
you
like,
gotta get out of here." You know, they were just like, you could tell the body language was like, "All right,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I think your time is up. Go to happy hour." I'm like, "This is my happy hour." You know what I mean?
So,
Like,
did anybody else do the same thing you did, or were you like the only person in that room at that point?
I want to say there was maybe
Some other.
two or three other people
Okay.
who did come back in the room, but I was definitely the last on that day to
There you
leave.
go. Perfect.
I was there because they were literally already shutting computers off, wiping them because we had another group of people coming the next day
Right.
who were going to be using those computers, so they had to put profiles on them, things like that. So they were kind of preparing for the next day, but there was a lot of computers there, so I mean, they were. It's not that I was slowing them down to do mine
Right.
because
Right.
they weren't even, But so, anyways, yeah, so yeah, they had to kind of inch me out. So I finally left and felt a lot better. I took my sign with me,
There you go.
and
I
then
bet you
went over to
there's got
happy
to be
hour.
there's
Then
got to be some of those guys that went along with you. Other content creators that probably did not take that sign. They're gonna watch this video and gonna be like, "Damn, I should have took my sign."
no, I think pretty much everybody took their sign
Oh yeah,
because
they took them. All
once
right, cool.
yeah, because I remember I took mine myself. Cause like, hey, you can take your sign. Like, oh, I can take my sign. Like, yeah, I'm taking it. And so I took my sign, and then we go back to happy hour. I actually go back to my hotel room to drop off my sign. Go to happy hour, and then I see that like people like Captain Canada, Jeff, and people like that, they didn't have their sign, but there was a lady who was there who was actually handing out signs. Handing out the name signs to people who didn't
Nice.
take them. So I'm pretty sure most people got theirs, but yeah, if you didn't get your sign, yeah, you definitely missed out.
You missed
Um,
out for sure. Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, but after that, just kind of wrap it up. So we go to the mixer, a little happy hour thing. All the Microsoft team is there. All the Xbox people are there, and then also all the content creators who are also there. We're also around eating drinks, free food, things like that. We're just kind of hanging out, talking about just various things, what we felt about our footage, what we felt about the game, about the sim. I know I keep calling it a game, but it is a game. It's both. Um, and so yeah, that's what exactly it looked like with nothing left out. That's how it was. Oh, one other thing, the Vision Jet thing. I know you saw XP got a chance to do the Vision Jet, so
Yes,
we
sir.
had a chance to do the Vision Jet, but we had to choose between the Vision Jet and the helicopter Grand Canyon ride. There was also
Okay.
limited seats, obviously, in a Vision Jet. You can't fit that many people in one. And because our group, I'm not sure how it was with XP's group and some of the other groups throughout the week, but our group was all full of like hardcore flight simmers. So when
Hmm.
they said you could do Vision Jet, we were all in. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Of course.
Originally they were like, hey, first come, first serve. First person to come up and sign up will take the first people until we run out of people. But the issue was it's kind of unfair because of our seating. So they just did a random draw. So initially I did not win the draw to get the Vision Jet. And I was like, oh, it's all cool. It's all good. I mean, I'll do the helicopter ride. I mean, eventually I'll probably hop in a Vision Jet at some point in my lifetime, I hope. But then later on during the interviews, one of the ladies from Xbox came up to me and was like, "Hey, I need to talk to you. Someone backed out of the Vision Jet opportunity. Would you like to take it?" And I was like,
What?
"Yes, I would. I would love to take it." But then she told me I couldn't do the helicopter, so I had to then choose which one I was going to do. And I just thought that in the chances of me getting the chance to do a helicopter over the Grand Canyon versus a Vision Jet, that the helicopter would be more rare for me. So I chose the
Okay.
helicopter. Plus, I had never
All
been
right.
in a helicopter before. So yeah, that was the day. And then the next morning, super early in the morning, we head back, and it was like I was never gone.
Very cool, man. Very cool. I bet you it was a pretty cool experience, though. Even though you didn't get to spend
Yes.
much time in the sim and all that good stuff, it was
That's
it
the
was
only
still an
thing
amazing.
that that's the only thing that most of us all wanted, which is more like a lot of us were like, "Hey, I would trade the cool helicopter ride, the Humvee tour. Like, I would trade a lot of that stuff for an extra hour or two in the
In
sim."
the sim, yeah, absolutely.
But they structured it that way for a reason. Also, I mean, if you look at any of the other big game developers, like you'll see they bring out content creators. They do all these really cool things just like this as well. Like there's a Call of Duty one that just happened recently. They brought a bunch of Call of Duty content creators and
Hmm.
influencers out to do like freaking driving on dirt. Humvee things like it was really cool. I mean, and I've seen them do things where they did one in Vegas where they had guys driving Corvettes around the racetrack, stuff like that. So like this is the kind of stuff they do all the time,
Right.
which I don't know if you were going to ask me about this, but kind of comes to my mind is this is why it's so hard to compete with Microsoft Flight Sim, like for X-Plane or any other flight sim, because what Microsoft is doing is at such a high level. Like the
Right.
millions of dollars they're spending on not only the game, but the marketing, the promotion, and every aspect of it is like, how do you compete with that corporation when you're like a mom and pop shop, So um, going to this event definitely put in perspective just how large Microsoft and
Oh, it's
Sony and
huge.
Xbox are.
It's huge.
Because like, we're in our little community, our flight sim community. We have our people who come to our streams and our Discord, stuff like that. It definitely still feels like, like a tight knit community. But then you see like that there's actually was it 15 million people who ever play Microsoft Flight Sim, and yeah, it's just crazy when you look at it in perspective.
Nice. We do have some questions in the chat, and I see them. We'll get to them in just a second. Before we go on anything else, I kind of want to back up a little bit before I even asked
Yep.
you about 2024. I think I just jumped the gun a little bit, but first and foremost, you do a lot of content on your channel. You do DCS, Flight Sim, 2020, soon to be 2024, obviously Explain, probably even 11, right? Explain 11, you doubled that, 12,
Yep.
all that good stuff, along with Train Sim and Truck Sim. You do all Race Sim. I mean, you do
Yep.
all of it. So it is obvious that you are not a strict flight sim channel, right? You are a, I would say you're probably a simulation channel, not a flight simulation channel, right?
Yep.
Would you
Yep.
say that one of those simulator is the bulk of your channel, or do you just equally do whatever? And I think the second part of the question would be what got you into flight simming, right? First and foremost, right?
Yeah. So the bulk of my channel as far as content creation is flight sim. That's what I spend most of my time doing, what I spend most of
Hmm.
my time creating. um, when it comes to viewers though, it's different on that end. Right now, it's split between flight sim and train sim.
Okay.
Obviously, I do other things like trucking sim, construction sim. I mean, everything that has a sim in it. I do it
Right.
because I just enjoy it. When it comes to like what people come to my channel for, viewership wise, and when I see like in the numbers and things like that, I would say it's probably around half and half between flight sim and train sim. Even though I don't spend as much time creating train sim content, it's like I make fewer videos for train sim, but I get more views. It's weird. So that's kind of how my channel is looking right at the moment.
Hmm.
And honestly, I'm okay with that because I enjoy and love both of those things. And what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say I find that a little hard to believe because you wouldn't think that the train sim community is bigger than the flight sim community, but then I don't know. I have no idea, right? I never done that. You would think there would be such a even more niche community than the flight simulation community, right? But again, I have never looked into the train sim. I've seen you do it, but other than that, it's I've never really seen anybody else do it.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Does it make
I don't
sense?
know the answer to which one of those communities are larger, but they are both niche communities.
Right, right.
There is a large train enthusiast community. Like there's train spotting, you know what I'm saying? There's people who go to train museums, all that kind of like there's a large community around trains in general, both in the US and other countries, just like how there is in flight sim. So I don't know which is larger at that. I just kind of see what my channel reflects. But yeah, I understand it. Like it's hard to understand it, but like if we want to really get into it, I might have to take a second. I'll answer the other question while I look into this. So, you're asking how I got into flight sim. I've
Hmm.
been into flight sim for a long time since I think, obviously, I played FSX. My very first flight sim was FS98, but that was like on my dad's old massive box computer, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I later on ended up getting my own MacBook for college, and while doing that, I was still interested in aviation. I just wasn't like doing any flight simming, and one day I was like, man, I want to see what I want to see what's going on, and so I downloaded X Plane 11 or 10 actually at the time because there was no other option for flight simming on a MacBook. So that's the reason why I got into X Plane to begin with. But then still, it's just not a very good experience playing flight sim on a Mac, at least not that MacBook Pro from that long time ago. So what I ended up doing was going over to, I had a really nice iPhone at the time. And so I found a flight simulator called Infinite Flight on my iPhone. And so I got into that because that was for me the nicest flight sim experience I was able to get at the time, because my PC, my MacBook, was like, it was a slideshow, man. It was a slideshow. Um, but on my phone, I could play multiplayer. I got ATC. It was really good, and so that's kind of where it started. I eventually decided to just give it a try and start like doing live streams from my phone. That did okay, pretty good for a new channel. My channel is really really young, really really new, less than 1,000 subscribers at the time, and through doing mobile flight sim, it grew beyond 1,000, and then I'm not sure what other numbers it crossed at that time. Eventually, I got my own PC, and that's when I finally transitioned into trying to do more PC flight simming. But my main audience at the time, my core audience at the time, was still mobile. So I kept doing mobile flight sim. I kind of had to keep doing mobile flight sim,
Hmm.
because that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted from me, right? My people were all mobile, and so even though I was mixing in the PC, I was transitioning slowly, and eventually it did pan out that my PC flight sim audience became larger than my mobile flight sim audience. A lot of the mobile people stuck around, but not everybody stuck around because I wasn't really necessarily playing their game anymore, right? So, but yeah, that's kind of how everything got started.
Nice, nice. Awesome stuff. Let's see. Let's take a couple of questions from the chat here. Um, so up there, I think Bobby had a question. When was okay? So yeah, we kind of already went over that one.
So real quick,
Uh,
while you're looking for a question, I
yep.
was trying to put in perspective the whole. I truly believe that my channel is very unique, is very weird, because I do a lot of different things. Flight sim is my main again, but I also do train sim and um, farming sim, things like that. And so, as an example, let me do it like this. A couple videos, and this is why I say what I say. I have a construct, and this is not to brag on myself at all. It's just to kind of put people in perspective of like the things that I think most my flight sim community and audience don't realize because they only watch my flight sim content. I don't think they
Hmm.
realize like how other things have taken off behind the scenes for my channel. And just kind of, and I'm very thankful for this as well. And I don't usually share these numbers. I don't usually talk about them publicly. But when I go back and look at it, I'm like, holy crap! Like, what is going on here? I also don't pay attention to them very often. But anyways, I have a construction simulator video
Hmm.
from a couple of years ago. Guess how many views it has? Just
A
try. Guess.
construction simulator.
Construction simulator.
Uh, well, I can tell you right now that I've seen some people actually make content on construction simulator. And they're views were upwards of 600, 700,000 views. But I don't know, how much, how much do you do that? I'm talking about. I don't know if you're familiar with the YouTuber Dre is his name.
Yeah.
I mean, he does everything, dude. That guy literally plays everything, and he gets hundreds and hundreds of views every time. He's a much bigger channel. Obviously, we're talking. He's got what 2 million subscribers, or maybe over that. So
Mhm.
he's obviously getting those views. But yeah, I would assume that your video, if I was to judge off of the rest of your content, I would say that it's probably around the 60, 70,000,
Okay. Yeah, 400,000,
400,000. Okay.
which is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's precisely what I'm saying, right?
I only ever did 2 videos on that.
Right.
And honestly, in my looking back at it, honestly a massive missed opportunity, like something I could have taken advantage of. It's just like not something that I was passionate enough to continue pursuing, right? Um, I got another trains, a couple trains, or a few. Dang. Okay, I'm looking at a few train sim vids, all over 400K as well. And then I only have maybe two flight sim videos in the past years that ever got beyond that as well. So just kind of put in perspective, like even though I focus on flight sim, it's like
Hmm.
there's other things that are and can do well depending on kind of like where you water the grass, right? Um, and so again, not saying this to brag. It's just like because my channel is kind of weird in a way that is like variety. Sorta. Like, when I first started my channel initially, I honestly that's why my name is Blue Games. It's not Blue
Hmm.
Simulation, it's not Blue Flight Sim, like, it's just Blue Games. Because when I initially started this channel, I wanted to kinda do what I wanted to do. It's like, I'm a gamer at heart. Yes, I'm a flight simmer. Yes, I wanna be a pilot, but I am a gamer as well, and I love playing various games. And a lot of people out there, feel the same way. And I didn't want to make a channel where I felt like I had to do one certain thing. Now, I love aviation enough that I could definitely spend all my time doing that. I can make a whole channel
Right.
only doing that. That's not a problem at all. It's just that I have other interests that I like to explore, and I like to show those interests with my community, because some of us have some of the similar um, you know passions and interests and things like that. So I just like to show that. Sometimes those videos don't do well. Sometimes I'll get 500 views on a video. You know what I mean? Like today, I could post a video tomorrow and get 500 views on video, maybe at least.
Right. It all depends, right? It all
And
depends.
I have to be okay with that, right? And
Yeah.
also a lot of times I already know when that's gonna happen. Like this is very different than anything I've done. Nobody cares about this subject. The algorithm's gonna hate me for this, but I like it and I'm gonna do it anyways. And that's where the construction thing came from. That's where the train sim thing came from. And that's why I'm bringing this up to begin with. Again, not to put myself above anybody or
Yeah.
brag or
No,
anything like that.
I'm.
It's just I'm hoping I'm inspiring somebody actually out there that who
Mhm.
may be considering trying various types of things. I will say, and I know you didn't really ask this question, but I will say when it comes to building and creating a YouTube channel, it is much better to niche down for that initial growth, because if you just do a bunch of different things, you're really not going to see
Right.
much growth at all. You're going to really struggle, especially in the beginning. And my channel, even today, I don't feel like that I am large enough that I could really just do whatever I want. Um, and so, but yeah, anyways, sorry if I went on a
Oh,
whole little
no,
tangent
no.
on that, but
I
yeah.
definitely wouldn't put that down on you, man. You're definitely doing a great thing. I got your page pulled up right now on the stream as well, and I just said your videos by popular, right? And
Oh
yeah, I
wow.
mean, you look at you have a lot of your showcasing of equipment and stuff is very popular as well, man. And I'll tell you this: number one, I see right now your thumbnail is your thumbnail game is on point, dude. So I need to get with you and talk about some
I
thumbnails.
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I love how you do it. Simple and it just pops right out, right? So
Yeah,
um
anything you need, man. If you ever have any
yes,
questions,
sir.
bro,
Yes,
let me
sir.
know.
And again, the videos too, man. When you look at like when for example, I was looking at I think one of the last videos I looked at was your next level simulator, next level racing cockpit type deals, the Boeing one. Just
Hmm.
the way you execute the videos, right? It's just uh it's not what you would see anybody do, right? It's different. It's your you do it your way, right? you put your spin on it, right? And that's, I think, to be successful in on YouTube or any other platform for that nature, you gotta bring your character, you gotta bring your twist on the thing, right? Because there's making a video about something, and then there is you you're right, your character, your persona, because a lot of times I think when people keep going back to a certain streamer, it's not so much because of what you're streaming, right? Because I'm gonna tell you,
Exactly. Yeah.
right now, dude, 100%, I have no interest whatsoever, zero interest on trains. But I literally, one day you were streaming, and I sat there for like 3 hours, not saying a word. I didn't say a
Wow.
thing, dude. I didn't even. I was just watching, and I'm like, just watching, relaxing, just watching you drive the damn train, and going through, CDs and bells and whistles and crossings and all that. It was just, but it's not because I like trains. It's because you just engaged the whole time. There was not a time when you were just like sitting there, just driving a train, right?
Mhm.
Because anybody could do that. Anybody could get in there and drive a train and go live, right? And just let the game do the talking. But how much retention are you going to have when you do that, right? You got to kind of bring the entertainment value, I think, to the stream, right? So I
I
think you
really
do that.
appreciate that. That's
I
super
think I
encouraging.
think you and XP and Captain Canada, just to name a couple, you guys do that very well. That's why you are where you at, I believe, right? Um, and everybody's got their own followers, their own following, and all that good stuff. So uh, awesome. One question
Yeah, I see
that did
some
come
really
up
good
here.
questions in the chat.
Let's see. Let's start from the top here. One of the questions that I can't find anymore, but it was from Mamba. He was asking if you are either have gotten one or are going to get. Oh, right here. It says it's up on the stream here. Did you get a copy of the sim upon release? So it's not being released yet. Uh, Obviously, you don't have a copy right now, otherwise you'd be streaming it. But whenever it releases,
Absolutely.
whenever it releases, is Microsoft going to be providing you with a copy, or are you going to have to be, are you going to have to go and buy a copy? From what I've talked to other people that have been to the event, and there's really very little people that are affiliated with Microsoft. However, I think that some of you guys that went were saying that we still haven't found out yet, but they said that they are probably going to send us a copy of the game.
Yeah, so I hope so. I don't know. I've heard mixed things too. In the initial email, I thought I saw that we were supposed to be getting an early version of it to use before release
Okay.
after this event. But when we were at the event, I also heard some people asking to say no. So um, I don't honestly know. We're hoping to hear that we're going to get some kind of alpha or early access version that we can start messing with or make content on early on. It's obviously everybody always wants that, right? Doesn't matter who
Right.
you
Of
are, whether
course.
you're there or
Of
not.
course.
So yeah, I want that. Am I gonna get that? I don't know. If I don't, then somebody else was asking, I'm gonna be buying the premium deluxe. So
Yep.
whether they give it to me or not, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna get it.
Sure.
So yeah,
Well, the cool factor with you getting it from Microsoft will probably be an early access type of deal, right? Where you get it maybe a week before it is released,
right.
and you can start making that content. That would be kind of cool to see, people like you and the other people that I've mentioned kind of do that type of stuff.
Well, I was
Some.
hoping like with 2020 we get like 2020 there's an alpha period or beta
Mhm.
period where we had it for like 2-3 months in advance, and it wasn't necessarily for streamers. It was just, hey, this is the community to look at and test and give us
Mhm.
feedback so that when we release it, that it's in a better state. And we're getting so close. I don't think that's going to happen in the same context. Maybe they
Well,
might do an alpha, but
I think part of the reason why they did that with 2020 is because that was literally the first time they've ever done something like that. I
true,
think
true.
now with 2024, they already have the 4+ years of experience, right? With them, as a tool with 2020. So I don't particularly say that that might be a necessity, but at the same time, it would be a benefit if you ask me, right? Why wouldn't it benefit them to kind of give that early access to the community? That way, you can have all your virtual pilots put hands on the sim, be like, hey, this is not working, this is not right, this is broke, this, I think that would be it's pretty much a free team, a free testing team, right?
Yeah.
For the most part. um So somebody wanted to know how strong was the PC? I'm assuming the one over at the event.
Think they were running 3080s or something, or 4080s or something like that. I didn't
Okay.
actually look or ask, but I think they're either high end 30s or like a 4080 or something like that. But they were good
Okay.
PCs. Everything was 4K.
Mid to high type stuff, right?
Definitely high, not mid, high for sure.
Okay. We had some people that wish they could have seen the Boeing C-17. I don't think you guys had access to that plane on that day, did you? The C-17?
I don't think we had access to that. Nope.
Cool, cool, cool. Um, okay, I'm gonna look for another question here. Another while I look for another question here from the chat, I wanted to ask you a question. So, um, what would you say? You can give me a list, or you can give me one thing, two things, whatever you got. Right? I'll leave
Mhm.
that up to you. But what is it? What excites you the most, or what are you not excited about when it comes with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024?
What am I most excited about for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024? I'm excited, I think, for kind of the new tech, if that makes sense. Um, and by tech, I mean just the new possibilities that 2024 gives everybody. Obviously, there's the in-game default stuff we're going to be able to do, but there's a lot more tools for third-party developers to play with. I mean, think about all of the mission stuff that it's very popular about, but all those missions can be extended as well in some kind of way, like whether all those aircraft that we bought, all those helicopters we bought that
Hmm.
don't do anything in 2020. It's like now we can, crop dust or do firefighting with, or a lot of those aircraft we bought, or I'm looking forward to a lot of that stuff. Um, I'm not really. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, what's your most, what aircraft are you most excited for?" And I'm looking forward to them, but I'm not like super excited about any of the particular planes because I look back at my current list of aircraft that I fly, and I don't really fly any default aircraft.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I really don't. I can't think of the last time I flew a default plane besides a Cessna 172. So I'm hoping that would change with the new sim because they are being actually made. Let's think about it this way: the new aircraft in 2024, some of them are made by Asobo, but a lot of them are made by partners like Flight
Right.
FX, like Miltech, like I Builds. And because third parties are making them for the base sim, these are not just going to be regular default aircraft like we're used to. These are going to be actually much higher fidelity planes. And so that I'm also looking forward to as well, is actually being able to fly a default aircraft as is and actually enjoy it.
Having said that, do you know uh who made the actual, the 737 Max on Asobo? Was that strictly Asobo, or was there
It's a
somebody
Sobo,
else external?
strictly a
Okay, that
Sobo.
one Asobo. Because I would assume, right, and I'm assuming right now, I'm just spitballing here, that your Beluga was probably maybe in builds, or was it just
Yep, the
Asobo?
Beluga was I. Yep.
INI builds, yep. Dreamlifter, I have no clue. I know that's not the new
Oh
aircraft we're getting.
no. I don't remember if they told us who was making that. I think they did. They told us who was making everything, but I don't think I wrote it down.
Okay,
So yeah, I don't know who's making the Dreamlifter.
okay. Here's a
I
question that
think
might
it's
get
actually
you.
hold on.
Okay,
I think it's a Sobo. So I think Working Title was doing the avionics.
working title with the
Because
avionics.
they Working
Yeah.
Title did they made kind of a sort of a big deal that I guess they had redone the avionics of the 747 as a whole.
Okay.
Um, and so that includes the Dreamlifter because that's also a 747, and
Right.
then
Of
the super tanker as well. So
course. Nice. Nice. There's a question that might get you in trouble here. So let's see. Let's see what you got.
we'll see.
Do you have a favorite sim? Train sim, flight sim, bus sim, etc.
Like
Explain.
them.
Flight sim.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
can't. I can't. Yeah, that's number one.
You
That's not
can't.
gonna get me in trouble.
No. Well, you know what I mean, right? With the controversy. Oh, well, explain 12, and hey, you know,
Oh, was X Plane
a
12
lot
in
of
there
a lot
too?
of a lot of people. Well,
Was
he
that an
said
option?
he said etc. So he left it open, right? He left it open. So
Okay. Well, yeah, it's still
I
flight sim.
know I
Even
know
if
that
you,
me
yeah.
me personally, there are always, I don't want to call it arguments. Maybe we'll just call them debates, right? We always like to have a lot of debates about what sim might be better or worst, or it's always those are always conversations that never go anywhere, right? It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until people get tired and like, okay, cool, let's just go flying, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I enjoy X-Plane, right? I love X-Plane.
yes,
That's like that's my, that's family. You know what I
see,
mean? Like
that's
you
my
don't,
OG right there.
that's
That's
OG
my homie.
exactly. That's where we came
Yeah.
from. You can't forget where you came from.
Hmm.
But no, it's no longer my favorite. It's like, yeah, I came from this house. I don't even have to live here for the rest of my life. You
That's
know
it.
what I mean? So I got me a nicer house in the hills now. But
You gotta look to better yourself, right?
yeah,
You can't
man.
just live in mediocrity for the rest of your life. You gotta do better, right? You know
But,
that.
I'll come
All
back
right,
and
let's
visit,
let me
for
look.
Thanksgiving and
You're
Christmas.
gonna, bro. You're gonna get me in trouble. You're gonna get me in trouble, man. Stop. You're gonna get in trouble.
No, but I
uh,
love X-Plane. But yeah.
so the GOT, thank you for the question, man. It says CST Gaming and Blue Games, which version of the 2024 will you go for? Me personally, I'm thinking about getting the Aviator package. Even though I have some of the planes already, I'm still probably gonna pick up the Aviator package.
Yeah, premium deluxe for me for sure.
Premium
I don't
Deluxe.
feel that I need the aviator edition. I'm good at premium deluxe.
Redneck, my main guy right here. Jesus, what what does Blue think about Ben Supnick's next gen scenery engine with satellite integration? I think he's talking about X-Plane 12 because he's an X-Plane guy. I don't know. I'm not sure though.
Oh, that's who Ben is. Ben from X-Plane. Right. I forgot his last name.
Hmm.
He has a next gen scenery thing?
I guess I don't know.
I wasn't
That's
aware that that
so
was a thing.
Redneck is my resident X-Plane guy, dude. So if he says something, it's probably related to X-Plane. But hey, if you don't know, you don't know, man. Let's move on.
No, I mean, that's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping. I'm hoping that Ben and the team do come up with some sort of way to get satellite imagery into X-Plane 12 or whatever number it's going to be. So yeah, if they're going to do that, I completely back it. I'm not done with X-Plane anyway, just because I was saying it's not my favorite anymore.
Hmm.
But I'm still going to play X-Plane in the near future.
Absolutely. I
Actually,
mean,
I'm
I
not giving
still
it
have
up.
it.
I'm not deleting it, uninstalling it.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, it's still a part of my rotation of flight sim. It's like what you said earlier. It's like at the end of the day, it's like let's just go fly, right? And if I
Yeah.
happen to go
Yeah.
fly an X
Absolutely.
plane, I'm flying an X plane. So, but yeah, I hope that that's what they need. They got the flight model and the feeling and the systems down. That's been locked down for a long time. So now it's time to work on their weakness, and that weakness is the scenery, the graphics engine, things like that. So I'm hoping they
Hmm.
make big jumps in that area.
But hey, big plus. I don't know if you know this, but as of a few days ago, maybe last week actually, you are able to go flying in your very own plane, right? You can download the data of your flight from your Garmin on an external drive, and you can plug it in on X-Plane 12, and you can relive your flight.
Oh
So
yeah, I
that's
did hear about them working on
yeah.
doing that.
However,
They got it figured
we're
out.
still waiting on satellite imaging and clouds and rain and
X-Plane is focused on something else. Like they're doing some graphic improvements for us. But
some
in a similar way that with Microsoft Flight Sim, the hardcore flight simmers are only, was it 5%, 10% of the entire community. With X-Plane, we're still only a smaller percentage, most likely, of their entire, bread and butter, which is also commercial. And so things like that are catering more to a real pilot, to a real, you know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
that doesn't matter at all. Like we could give a crap if I could download my flight plan from a real plane. Like
Exactly. Well, that's a
few of
conversation I was
us,
having
you know
with
what I'm
Redneck
saying?
the other day,
Few of
right?
us even have, a
It's
real
like,
plane.
what is it? One out of 100 people are going to do that, right? I mean, who's this flight simmer that's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go fly my Citation X real quick, and I come back and I'll download this stuff on. Like who does that? Like who's
I
got?
mean, it's cool. I'm sure
It
they
is
made it for
cool.
a
It's
specific
absolutely
reason,
fantastic.
and
It's
I can
great.
see it being really beneficial for
But to the
a
average,
manufacturer, or
to
Citation or Cessna or somebody like that, to do some testing and creating an aircraft. Because X plane is
absolutely
at its heart, X plane is an aircraft builder, right? And that's what they're doing.
at
They're
its
still
heart,
doing
right?
that. And so if you think about it, if you're developing a new aircraft and you have a Garmin in it, and you went out, you did a test flight, you want to go back, you want to fine tune some of the avionics, things like that, you
Hmm.
can download that data, and boom, that's so much helpful. So it's
I
look at
think
it,
even at
yeah.
that, I think even at that, they still have a long ways to go. If that's the way they're going with it, great, but I think they're missing out on a huge part of the flexing community. If that's the only way they go, I think they should go. They should go all the way rather than just pick the 1% on this side, right? But then
Yeah.
again, who am I, right? I'm just mellow, who knows?
Just a
Nobody
flight
knows me.
simmer.
There's a flight sim, man.
Just a
That don't
flight simmer.
just a flight simmer that doesn't have the luxury to go flying in my own plane and download some information on X-Plane, right? I can't do that.
Right.
All right, Mr. Joan says, question. Oh, I can't see the whole damn question. Question for Blue Games regarding Microsoft Flight Simulator 28. Did you have the opportunity to do a crosswind takeoff with any of the aircraft in 2024, maybe the Max? And if so, how does it compare with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020? Now, with that question, I will tell you that I watched some of your videos and some of your interviews that you did with those guys, and they were talking about wind shear, they were talking about updrafts, they were talking about all that good stuff. So I know that there's going to be um, new technology, if you want to call it that way, implemented in the new sim that's going to handle a lot differently than what we used to with Flight Sim 2020. But if you can elaborate, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So did I do it? The question was, did I do a crosswind takeoff in 2024? How does it compare to 2020? Um,
Hmm.
yes, I think I did. I did not do it in the max. The max was pretty calm winds when I did that flight. I think I did live weather. Um, but I did do it in a bush plane. Yes, the bush plane takeoff I did was sort of in a crosswind, and I did feel it. How does it differ? It felt pretty similar, but a couple of things that are different that I think people maybe notice is, and I think this is actually already in 2020, so it might not be any difference at all. But that's basically is how the wheels contact the ground. Since the ground has, was it 5,000 more detail than 2020. Whenever your wheel is flexing and like leaning right or leaning right or left, like losing traction, sliding, whichever, it's like you won't just like slide over the runway like it's ice, or at least you shouldn't, because the ground actually has this friction that should keep you from sliding as much. You still might hydroplane slide depending on the wind, things like that, and lift and whatnot, but um, that will actually make a difference to your aircraft pulling left, pulling right. Now it's still going to do that because it's supposed to in some cases.
Hmm.
But to really answer your question, I don't know um how different that is. I need to do a specific test just to really look at that one detail, but there is difference in because of the ground. It sounds weird that you're talking about the air, but I'm talking about the ground, but they do go hand in hand when the aircraft is in transition between touching both, right? And so there is some differences there. One big thing that didn't get talked too much about, at least not in my videos, because I didn't have any footage to show it, was wake turbulence, which some people could care less about, but everything is going to have wake turbulence now. Helicopters, jets, prop planes, and if you're in multiplayer, and assuming VATSIM allows for this as well, you will feel that wake, assuming you actually take off into it, right? And you may see some third-party add-ons who add a visual element to that, because right now you're not going to see it; it's invisible. You can't see the wake turbulence. But if someone like Parallel 42 or something like that might put some wing vertices to allow you to kind of see a hint that it's there. But that's one thing actually blew me away when they showed us a video of how the wake turbulence looked, like a visualization of it, and how
Hmm.
it stays on the runway for up to 6 minutes behind the aircraft was amazing to me. I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then also seeing a helicopter and its wake turbulence. You don't think about helicopters when you think about wake turbulence, right? But it has a wake turbulence and it actually affects the area around it. Obviously, we've all seen the videos where there's that one helicopter flying over the crops and the crops move. It was like, yeah, those move, the grass move, the trees move. If there's smoke or a flare or something like that around it, you also see that interacting with the vortices and the air coming around it. So it's like there's a lot of physics happening in
That's
this sim.
huge. That's huge.
And a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, when I here's the thing, man. When I saw some of the things they showed us, um, and I'm like, whenever somebody calls it a game, I'm like, you don't even know, man. Like why would a game do this? Why would it get? Like, I get that people think it's arcadey and this and that, and I understand. We all have our own opinion, but it's
Yeah.
like the little details they've gone into to make this as realistic as they possibly can. Right? It's like just because it's not ugly and and out of
Right.
date
Right.
looking doesn't mean that it can't be a sim. And so, but yeah, stuff like that was amazing. Again, I didn't really answer the question about the crosswind thing, but like stuff like that is simulated. I would assume crosswinds should be better. I don't know.
Right.
And if they're not, hopefully they will get better. That's one thing I I do
I
believe
did
that
say that
they
that's
are
an
working
element
on it.
that's going to be implemented in the new sim. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like once the sim is out.
It also depends on
Absolutely.
the plane developer. Like a lot of that
Exactly.
depends on how the plane is tuned. Like if you hop in some third party plane and it feels like crap on takeoff, and then you blame Microsoft, well, it might not be Microsoft's fault. It might be the plane
That's
developer's
absolutely
fault.
that's
Um,
entirely not Microsoft fault. It's the developer
yeah,
of the aircraft. And that
yeah,
goes end in end with some of the discussions I've had with some of my guys here on the Discord. Is a lot of people will be asking me, "Hey, will my Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 aircraft and scenery work on 2024?" And the digging that I've been able to do is yes, they will be working in there. However, those sceneries and those airplanes are gonna function in the same way they function in 2020, meaning they're not going to take um, the flight sim 2024 improvements and applied to those scenarios and airplanes automatically. The developers are going to have to go back and update those sceneries and aircraft to react with the new sim, right?
yeah.
So that's kind of like the short of what I've gotten. If you got more to elaborate on that, that'd be great. If I
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much covered
I'm
it,
I'm in agreement with you. That's
yeah.
basically how it's going to be. I mean, when you drop in your aircraft from your community folder in 2020 to your community folder in 2024, that plane in theory should work as it just like it did. It just won't have any of those new features. I see a lot. I know we have a few X Plane people here. I like to make the comparison. When X Plane 12 came out, there's a lot of scenery specifically that was not updated for X Plane 12. And what was the difference there? Well, a lot of the ground textures were different. We didn't get water on the runways or on the ground, no icing, like stuff like that was the
Hmm.
main biggest difference between 2012 and 11. And it's gonna be similar in Microsoft Flight Sim as well. Is like some of those details that's been changed, like the enhanced and improved ramp and ground textures that we now have in 2024. If an old scenery is using the well, if they're using the default one, it probably should just work because they'll just replace it with the default. But if
Right,
they made their own texture that's like a blurry mess, it's gonna still look a blurry mess because they
right.
didn't implement the new technology that 2024 approved. And so it's going to come down to third parties to implement some of those new things, and we're going to see a lot of people, I think, who will do it immediately. We'll see some who want to charge for that upgrade. Some people will advertise that they've upgraded it to 24 spec and only done the bare minimum, which I'm really scared of happening.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's where it's
I
going.
think when you have a new sim like that that comes out, whether it's X-Plane or even Flight Sim, whatever, right? That's gonna happen, right? You're gonna have
Yeah,
the developers that are gonna charge you a certain amount to get the upgraded version, right? You have developers that will provide that update for free, and you have developers that just do a F-baked job, right? We all know who
yeah.
those developers are, and we do our best to keep, ourselves to stay away from and share that experience with the community and tell them, hey, stay away from these developers. That's not a very great airplane.
Yeah.
That's not a very great scenery, and you still have people that fall for it. But anyways, I
There's one
digress on
thing that
that.
I actually heard in one of my interviews with them was one of the big questions is, will my third party aircraft work in career mode? And from what I understand from what they were saying was that yes they will, but like the third parties kind of have to opt into it. Like I guess there's going to be
Right,
like a new checkbox or something in the back end, right, to allow a 737 from PMDG to be available in career mode under the airline section, right? Like it's not just going to know, oh, PNDG is an airliner. Like you have to tell Microsoft what your aircraft is, where it's available, how what can it do, and things like that. And so that's an example of like obviously if you take it to free flight, you can just fly it. But
right,
once you get into
exactly.
career mode obviously has a organization where it's like, hey, these planes are made for search and rescue, or for medevac, or for airliner, or for industrial cargo, things like that. And you can't just have a PMDG 77 unlockable at private pilot rank, So
Mm,
there's got to be some kind of thing in the back end that third parties have to do. That's obviously minor and for career specifically, but I think an example. Another thing is that what about the new walk around mode? Now, yes, you can do walk around mode with anything, but like the chocks appearing, the engine covers, like stuff like that. I don't think any of that's gonna be default for any aircraft except for the default planes. So
right.
I mean, so Phoenix, PNDG, TFDI, they're gonna have to go back and add those things because PNDG doesn't have any cover. They have chocks. There's no covers. I mean, you don't really need covers. I mean, who's ever seen a
Sure.
cover on 737? I thought it was weird when I saw the Max with covers on it. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
But still, like, that's my point. Stuff like that is gonna have to be updated or changed. I still personally would tell people to expect there to be probably a bit of a rough time there in the early days because even though they
Well,
say
yeah.
it's supposed to work, we've been through this enough, CST, that
Hmm.
like things are gonna break. And honestly, in my opinion, I think they should break. And the reason why I'm saying they should break is if I think if they don't break, then enough things probably haven't changed. Um,
Yeah,
so that's
agreed.
my thought.
Yeah, there's definitely absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's avoidable. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be issues. What in a formal whatever. Just say something. That's probably going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I mean, kind of
Yeah.
like nobody thought about having a red map floating around the copy when they were trying to showcase the sim to you guys. You see what I'm saying? It just happened, right? It's just one of
Well, it
those
wasn't that
glitches,
they
one of
didn't
those
think
things.
about it. It was that I remember asking, I was like, how did this happen? And basically, I mean, they tested the build that we were gonna play at the event, like, the night before the event, and it worked fine. But the issue was when they, I guess, installed all these on all these machines, and
Hmm.
it's just coding, right? It's something that's stuck
Something happened. Yeah,
overnight.
exactly.
And it wasn't until we got on that we even discovered it. And obviously it's fixed, so no one else will ever see the red man unless they put it in there as a hidden feature on purpose, which a lot of people
Mm.
were asking for.
A
But yeah,
nice little Easter egg.
Easter egg, exactly.
What do you feel is your greatest accomplishment during this simming journey? Oh, that's
My
the deep
greatest
question. That's a
that
deep
is a
question right
deep
there.
that's a deep
I'm not even
question.
gonna answer that because I don't even think I've started my journey. But
You definitely
we'll
started your
see.
journey.
We'll see.
My deepest
We'll see.
accomplishment since I've started flight sim. Wow.
Well,
Yeah, I feel
I
like I'm
don't
still in
think
my journey too.
I don't think
Yeah.
he meant I don't think he I think he just said simming journey. Maybe overall simming, not just fly sim. What do you
I
feel
would
your
say,
greatest
I mean, I
accomplishment?
feel like my accomplishment, bro, is the fact that I feel like I can hop in a real plane and fly it with zero license or zero legit training. Um, it's not something I can really go around and like flaunt because they're just gonna laugh at me, But like
Sure.
I truly believe because we've been simming for so long. I've studied these aircraft in the sim. I've flown so many hours in the sim that like I mean when I sit in the cockpit of a 737 in real life, I know what everything is, what everything does.
Hmm.
And if they ask me to do it, I could take that plane off. I don't know if I could land it, but I could take off. I could get the autopilot working. I could talk to ATC.
I
I think talking
always
to ATC I think talking to ATC alone is a big accomplishment. I know
Yep.
we kind of take it for granted now because we're so used to it. We do it every day, but like if you look back at the people who are just starting simming now or just starting their flight training in real life, like learning to talk to ATC is a massive
Oh yeah.
milestone, a massive challenge. And so the fact that we do it at ease at home on our little computers, I think is a big thing. So I think those are my biggest, and not just for the 7.3, but just I mean I can hop in A320, various GA planes. I just know way too much that I should know based on my actual real life aviation
Absolutely,
experience.
man.
And I
I
think
think
that's
that's
probably a really good accomplishment of mine.
especially for somebody that's looking to be a pilot, right? I think if you've been simming for like a numerous amount of years, whatever, 6, 7 years, if you've been flight simming, VATSIM, and all that stuff, you're already a step ahead of everybody else that's going into it, right?
Yeah.
When you go to ground school and flight school and all that good stuff, so
Well,
you already
that's
got the
another one
lingo
actually.
and all.
I
Yeah.
did ground school virtually online. I didn't actually go out there and do it, but I did that too. So that's another accomplishment that helped me learn even more for flight simming. And honestly, I would like them to ask me that question again after I get my license because that would
There you
then
go.
be my actual ultimate kind of like accomplishment is that using flight sim to advance and save money to getting a real life flight lesson and start flying myself. That's what my goal is.
Are
That's what
you still actively pursuing that,
I'm
or are you kind of
pursuing
like
it, but I'm not like doing it. If that makes
okay?
sense, like I want
No,
to do
I
it,
understand it, dude. I understand it.
but
I get it.
I'm not there yet. But it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen.
Slowly but surely, right? It's coming. Got you.
Yeah.
Um, I forgot. I was gonna ask you something. I was gonna kind of rebuttal on something, but that's all right. We got a question from Mr. N Flight Simmer. Says, did Asobo mention whether they will appreciate those of us who have already paid for 2020 and therefore not charge us again for 42 aircraft we already paid for in the standard version?
I don't know the answer to that one. We're gonna have to wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow, Microsoft's doing their own live stream. I'm pretty sure that question will come up. I hope it does because that is one
Hmm.
gray area that I was actually talking to XP about earlier that I don't really know. I mean, I thought I was under the impression, this is not what they said. I was under the impression that if you own 2020 and you have the premium deluxe edition, that all those planes that you have access to and own will come over to 24 no matter what edition you buy. But I could be wrong about that. It might actually be that you don't get them in 2024 because it's a whole new game. I don't know. So I don't know the answer to that question.
I think I, don't quote me on this, but I think I heard somebody somewhere on an interview saying that it goes by your marketplace account. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you go buy a version of the sim and you already own certain planes on 2020, they are automatically going to recognize the fact that you have purchased that plane, and it's going to automatically be added to your 2024.
That's what I'm
Uh,
hoping for. Like
but
if you have the premium deluxe from 2020, so you have the 787, the longitude, things like that. I'm hoping that when you go to 2024 and you only get the standard, that you still see all those premium planes in your
the
account.
the
I
only
hope.
the only gray area will be, okay, so if I buy the Aviator version and let's say I already own 15 of the 30 planes that they're advertising, right? Am I going to get charged for the 15 planes again? Or
Yeah, because
once I make that that transaction, then because I'm logged in as in my account, right? They will recognize the fact that I've already paid for those 15, and they will deduct that amount from my total price. Is that,
I don't
that's
think that's
something,
gonna happen. That's
right?
definitely not happening.
But
I know
I
you ain't
would
getting no discount. That's one
I
thing
would
I'm for sure.
assume I would assume they
Uh,
would, right? Because if you go by the Aviator package and you already own 15 of the 30, then why would you pay the full extra 70, $80, whatever that is, right?
exactly. That's why I'm not
But
getting
anyways,
aviators. That's why I'm
I
not
will
getting.
tell you right now, I'm in a position myself where I consider myself very fortunate, and I don't
Mhm.
care, dude. Even if I own 15 of those planes, I'm still gonna buy the Aviator package. So I wish
Yeah.
I could give the extra 15 I got to someone else, but I just can't do that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
um
I know
yeah,
if you bought anything from the marketplace, right,
it's
third
gonna transfer.
party,
Yeah.
that's all gonna transfer like day one. I think there might be an opt-in option for that too. Just like how when we went live on Xbox for Microsoft, their third parties had to, like, I think, opt in to allowing their plane to be available on Xbox as well. So I think maybe in the same way it might be onto third party just to click a button to get it on 24. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it might be a bit of a manual process to do that.
Okay. I don't think that you can fully answer this question, obviously, because of the time that
Right.
you had in the sim. But Droid X83 says, how good is the 737 Max and the Microsoft Flight Sim 24 as compared to a study level such as PMDG, which I don't consider the PMDG a study level. I would say that's a good high fidelity aircraft, but it's definitely not a study level aircraft.
Yeah, I wouldn't call PMDG study. He's gonna hate me for saying this, but I wouldn't call it study level.
I mean, it's not, right? I
But
mean,
it's
that's
it's yeah. The Max is good. All right. It's not PMDG. It's not a PMDG 737. But it does everything that you need it to do. Think of it on the level of like the INI Bills 320 Neo, the current version of 787, um, the you know what I'm saying? Like it's a really good aircraft, but it's not third party good. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's much better than the what we're used to a default plane being. It's much better than what the 320 Neo was at default when 2020 came out. You know what I'm saying? So like it has everything you need, avionics wise. All the FMC stuff works. VNav works. LNav works. RNav works. All that stuff works. Now I think the people that will notice something missing will be somebody who might be a 737 captain. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that a typical simmer needs in a aircraft, the 737 Max has nothing,
there
like
you
none of
go.
the extra stuff, and that's all you need. Like I don't need, like, if I don't know if it includes failures. I didn't get a chance to test that. Um, but if you're into that kind of thing, then yeah, you want that. You might miss that, but yeah, it's good. I mean, it flies really good. Like the handling of it is really good. It feels pretty similar as far as how it flies to the PMDG 737. It really does. Um, it it feels good. It's a good feeling plane as far as flight model. I know a lot of people care about that. But yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call it study level, but anyway. But I think it's good enough.
There you go. Mr. Vset Lang, what is the main difference between the deluxe version and the aviator edition of the sim? V said I could probably answer that question. I'll put out a video on it as well. The difference is you'll get the 30 additional airplanes that Asobo has put out between 2021 and 2024. Your historical aircraft that they come out with, I forget what they call it. What they call them? Something
Local
flyers.
legends or
Local
famous
legend
flyers and local legends
and
will
local
both go.
legends. So you'll get the 30 local legend and famous flyers. You'll get them with the aviator package for that extra 70. I think what is it, like 70, $80,
Yeah.
something like that. 70 bucks additionally from the premium deluxe. That is the only difference as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there is any additional sceneries or anything like that. It's just airplanes.
What's actually
So
interesting is that yeah, they didn't include any new airports. Like when 2020 came out, we got a bunch of handcrafted stuff. Well, they didn't create anything new for 24. It's just basically everything that we already had from 2020, plus all the world update airports are included in the base package now. But yeah, it's just you just get the extra stuff from the local legend famous flyers. That's the only difference.
here comes Mr. Redneck says, do you think it's lazy for Asobo to contract in the sim out of hundreds of developers instead of making it themselves? I I
No,
think I
not
think
at
it's
all.
smart. I think it's
I think
smart.
it's very if it was listen, if man, bruh. Okay, so listen, if they did not contract all these developers, we would probably get 10 planes and they'd all suck. Like that's the truth. And so I'm thankful that they're actually hiring. And what the cool thing too is they're hiring people who are already a part of our community for years, right? So like they've changed a lot. Can you imagine the freaking check these guys got? You know what I mean? Like these developers that we've loved and appreciated for these years, now they're actually being absorbed or being paid or contracted to build an aircraft for the base sim. Like I think it's freaking amazing. So no, I don't think it's lazy at all. I think it allows Asobo and Microsoft to focus on the core sim, make the core sim better, while allowing third parties to focus on the aircraft specifics, which is already their specialty.
This is not a question. I just put it up there because I thought it was funny. Mikey D says, "Explain there's no reason to start it when it looks like that."
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, we have a dev stream for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Not we, but there is a dev stream. It's scheduled for tomorrow, 12:30 Central Standard Time. So what is that?
Thank you
13:30.
for converting that because I didn't
Uh,
know what time that was local. I
yeah,
saw it.
yeah,
I saw the UTC. I didn't know it was local.
yes, sir. Yeah, man. Let's see. We got people
I see
arguing here.
someone asking about am I doing a rotate MD-11 passenger stream? Most likely no.
I guess let's go at the bottom. If I missed your question and it was up above, it probably scrolled out of my viewing. So please go ahead and put it back in the chat. Oh, this is a very interesting one. I think you talked to somebody about this. I was watching one of your videos, but is the weather radar finally fixed in 2024? And I know what the answer to that is, but go ahead, please tell us.
No, it's not fixed. It's not. They haven't changed the weather radar. But what York was saying in the video that I posted was that I guess something they've done in the background now makes it possible for it to do, I guess, what everybody's wanting it to do. But no, it's not. It's not been updated or changed or improved in any way. The weather's been changed, updated, improved, but the weather radar has not been changed or improved. So but like he said, it should be possible now. It's exactly what he said. It should be possible now to make the improvement to weather radar what people are asking for. So, are they going to do it? When they're going to do it? I have no idea. But I know for a fact it's one of the top things on their list that people are asking for. And so, keep bugging them about it, and
Yeah,
we'll get it. We'll get it soon.
it did mention, like I said, I was watching your video, and he did say it is possible, right? It's a possibility. It can happen. However, I think the issue they're having is figuring out a way to make it happen, if you know what I mean, right? So, and I don't know if it's due to licensing or anything. I'm not sure. I think in the past I've heard somebody saying about the actual company, the actual entity that provides that information, that data for Microsoft Flight Sim, right, is not willing to open their stuff up and let them in to go ahead and develop a program that acts as a
Yeah, I
as a
believe
as
from
a
what I heard,
radar,
yeah, from what I heard, I
right?
think it's something like that too. A lot of the weather requests people are making are due to limitation in the weather data that Microsoft is buying, right? Microsoft buys or the service for the weather from someone else, and and they can only do so much with it, and
Hmm.
so they have to find ways to do what we want them to do, and in some cases it's harder than you think, or it's just no. So I don't. Yeah, Mateo Blue, I believe. So yeah.
Mr. Owl says, "What about turbulence? Any changes? I don't think you're gonna need your little third party. What's it called? Turb, whatever, real turb. I
Yeah.
don't think you're gonna need that
I,
anymore. But
I never used it. I don't know,
I
man.
know.
Like I didn't get a chance to do a full flight, or anything like that. So it's not like I got to really experience it while in my time flying the sim. But I did ask about it because I know people wanted to know about the turbulence. And in one of the videos that I posted, he talked about weather and the reason why we currently are not getting any like turbulence as we think we should in the clouds is because I guess the weather is being drawn, at least in the back end, like it's too thin or too shallow or something like that. He explains it a lot better. Watch that video. That's actually on the Blue Experience channel. But he did say that it's supposed to be better now because they've actually changed how that happens or something. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see owls once we hop in the sim, start flying. I hope it gets better too because I had a really bumpy flight into the Grand Canyon because of turbulence, and I was like, yeah, we need to have this in the sim.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've used the real turb thing that we have for 2020. I tried it. I used it, and I've been in aircraft before. I know what turbulence feels like, and that does not feel like real turb. So I quickly deleted the thing and took it out. Same thing. I'm in the same opinion with FS realistic. I call it FS unrealistic. I don't think the thing is
uh,
realistic at all. I feel like I'm a bubblehead when I'm inside the aircraft. I know you can turn all that stuff down, but my point is, if you buy FS realistic to get those type of movements or whatever, what's the point of turning them down, right? Why you got to turn them off or down? Like that's why you buy an FS Realistic 4, right? To get you that
mhm.
realistic look. But to me, I'm inside the plane doing this bubble thing, and it's like that's not realistic. That's stupid. Why who
I
does
also
that?
believe that should be
You know?
built into the sim. That should have been part of the sim to begin with. You should
Right.
not have to have a bobblehead
Yeah.
uh, add-on for any flight sim, including X-plane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
And
agree.
real turb is kind of like, to me, when I tried real turb, it's almost like the turbulence in the sim that's already there, right?
Mm.
There's no difference. Like whenever there's a turbulence, sometimes it looks like, okay, that's kind of like what turbulence should look like. Sometimes it's just the plane doing this number the whole time, and you're like, okay, why is the plane going left and right, left and right? That's not turbulence. What the hell is this, right? So out there's people that use it. If you guys use it and you love it, keep using it, keep doing what you're doing. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think it looks very fake, and I don't think it looks like real turbulence whatsoever.
Listen,
But
I do
hey,
use FS Realistic, so
yeah,
I'll back up. I'll back up my homie Sim have
there you
whatever
go.
the heck his name
There you
is,
go. He likes it,
FS
right?
Realistic.
Yeah.
But I do turn it way the heck down. So I only want that
Uh,
subtle. I literally bought it just for the head movement when you land. That's
right.
the only. But then I turned it off because if you
Yeah.
combine that with the replay mode, like the replay looks all weird. So I just have to
Exactly.
turn it off.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I have my own head. I have Tobii eye tracker, and hey, that does the job. If I
yeah, all
if
you
I'm
gotta do is
moving
just
my
bounce in
head,
your seat when you
just
land.
just right?
Just
if
bounce
I
in your seat
if
when
I
you
if I
land. There
want to
you
make it
go.
if I want to make it look like if it's realistic or real turbo, all I gotta do is sit in there, turn my head tracker on, and go like this. There you go. We got it. Anyways, no, I'm like I said, that's my opinion. Obviously, you got somebody on this side. FS realistic to me, I can do without, and then you got Blue over here. That's like, hey, that's a pretty good mod. So again, it's opinionated stuff, right? If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's the same. The same goes with X-Plane versus the Microsoft type deal, right? Do I not? I still fly just like anybody else. I still like to fly X-Plane whenever I get the hitch for, I don't know, a 7.5, a 7.6, those type of planes that we have been privy to and on Microsoft side. But I can tell you right now, if I had a 7.5 on Microsoft Flight Simulator, you would not catch me flying a 7.5 on X-Plane, and that's because I like Microsoft more than X-Plane. So to me, X-Plane,
It's about the full experience,
right?
man.
It's about,
Like
and it's
it's
about your experience, right? So
exactly.
those people that are all about X-Plane, hey, keep doing your thing, man. Keep going. But however, this is the thing that just annihilates me, dude. I just want to choke myself, dude. whenever somebody jumps in the conversation and says, well, this player looks better, better, bro, come on, dude, open your eyes, man. You cannot possibly tell me for 1 second that out of the box you install Explain and you install Microsoft 2020. I'm not talking about 2024. I'm talking about 2020 out of the box, right? Stock, install and install, launch them. Which one looks better? I'm talking about the full package, right? I'm not talking about, there's people that talk about flight models and characteristic. Okay, cool. I'll give you that. I still don't think that neither one or the other is the real thing or feels like the real thing, but that's just me. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at the full package, right? And it's my opinion and my opinion only. I don't put that on nobody. You want to fly, on the iPhone like you used to do, hey, go for it, bro. That's what makes you happy when you get up in the morning. I'm absolutely with you, brother. It's all about what you want to do, right? But you're not gonna twist my arm and tell me, hey, you gotta like this. No, I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna be that way, and I'm pretty sure many people are that way. So, anyways, that's enough of my rant.
I have a question I want to answer from the chat. I'm gonna try to keep it short because this is a
you're good.
recent thing that I was thinking about. Redneck was asking, what do I think about the about Bluebird 757 not having an initial release for 2024? Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. Well, I guess I'll answer first, and we'll see what the chat has to say about it. Me personally, it didn't affect me much when I heard about that. They've been saying that for a while now. They didn't just come out and say it. They said, hey, it's going to be released for 2020, and then there will be a free upgrade for 2024 once 2024 comes out. I was assuming that because that's what they were saying, the plane was going to be released before 2024. But then I quickly found out that's not going to be. That's not going to be. The more I look at updates and stuff like that, the more I think, dude, we ain't going to see this plane until like summer of next year, bro. I think if we see it, realistically, if we see it by summer of next year, I think that's going to be that's going to be luck. I don't think it's going to be ready by summer next year. But hey,
my prediction,
prove me wrong.
First quarter 25.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, dude, I like to be proven wrong when it comes to this type of stuff, right? So I'll say summer of next year. And Bluebird, if you're listening, you want to prove me wrong, go right ahead, prove me wrong, man. So make me look bad. I don't care.
I have a similar thought on that. So I was watching the video, the sound video, and he kind of talked about all that stuff. And I remember when he said, yeah, we're making this for 2020. I was like, okay, makes sense. I got you. It kind of worries me about aircraft working in either sim, but okay, I get it. I understand they're working on that. But then when he said we don't have we don't know if we're gonna make it in 2024. We're gonna try to finish it before 2024 is over, but we don't know for sure. I was like, okay, now hold on now. If you can't release in 2024, then you need to make it 2024 native. That's my thought. Like, either you drop it before 2024 drops and make it for 2020. I'm cool with that. But if you're gonna miss the November 19th date for 757, you need to include the 2024 features and things like that. Like, I would rather them push it back the date a little bit more. And because we're gonna get 30 something new planes in November to fly. We're gonna be thinking about no 757.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so it's like bro, and I would tell them this to their face. Hopefully I do get to say them someday. But listen, let's just push it back. You're already not ready. You're already not ready. Don't drop this for 20. The reason I'm so upset and passionate about this because I have full plans on completely deleting. I'm on the train of deleting 2020 when 24 comes out. That's what I want to do. I don't want to have any reason to go back to 2020. I already got 2 sims on my computer. Why do I need a third? Actually, I have 3. I have DCS as well. That takes a lot of freaking space. But why do I need another flight sim? I'm not keeping. Do you keep NBA 2K23 when 2K24 comes out?
Nope.
No, you freaking delete that thing. You don't. I like my team. No, you start over. So that being said, when 24 comes out, I plan, to slowly move my add-ons over to see which works. And if something doesn't work, then I'm just not going to use it until that dev updates it, unless it's something crucial like PMDG 737 or Phoenix. Those 2 planes are kind of like the deal breakers. If those 2 don't work, then I might have to keep 2020. You might have to just hold on for a little bit. But outside of that, if everything else is working okay enough, then I'm getting rid of that thing, man. I'm not holding on to 2020. I'm kicking it, fighting dust, man.
Um, I think I'm gonna have to wait because I'm not quite sure that it's gonna be functional for my type of simming. And when I say my type
Hmm.
of simming, I mean VATSIM. I mean, that type of stuff. Sim brief integration, which I think all this stuff should be easy
That's gonna be
once
in there
once the
already.
sim
Some
comes
brief
out.
integration.
Right, sim brief it's probably easy
That's
because it's
actually
through
that was
Sim
in
Connect,
there
right? Sim
when I was at the
Connect.
test.
So I'll
They
let
had
you
sim
know.
brief on the test. Yeah,
Navigraph, I think that's through Sim Connect, so that should be pretty simple as well, right?
yeah.
So I th- this is the thing. Once I can do what I can do with Flight Simulator 2020 today, once I can do that with 2024, then I can comfortably, and like you said, pending sceneries and aircraft and all that good stuff, right?
So
Then I
here's
can
my question
probably
to you
I can
then.
probably move on.
What is your line? What is your essential mods or DLC that have to work in 24 for you to
Oh,
give
it's
2020
it's
to
it's
boot?
airplanes. I don't even care about
All
sceneries
of them?
too much. No,
All of them?
I'm talking about the
No, but what's
airplanes
the
that,
line? Like what's your essential few? Like
dude, I
what
gotta
do you
have my
gotta have?
PMDGs. I gotta have my
Okay.
Phoenix.
All of them? All the
Oh yeah,
7.3s, all
absolutely,
the 777s? Okay, gotcha. All
100%,
right.
dude. I gotta have
All right.
those. That's my main bread. That's what I fly the most. That's what I do, right?
No, no, I'm with
Um,
you. I'm with you.
I
What
I
else? That's
mean,
it? That's all? That's all holding you back from deleting 2020?
MD11,
Okay, that's
TFDI.
probably
I
gonna
mean,
break.
yeah. Well, let's see, let's
Oh my
see.
god. Chat,
Well,
chat,
wait a minute.
chat,
Why would that
name
one break? Why would that one break and not that
chat, put
PMDG, bro? Why would that one? Why you gotta poop on my
chat.
MD11, bro?
Hold on.
That's my OG right there, bro. You cannot do that to
Chat,
my
I want
MD11.
to see a list in chat. Aircraft most likely to break when 24 comes out. On
All
that
right.
list, I got,
Okay. All
I
right.
got TFTI. I got TFTI on that list. I love
All
that
right.
plane, bro. I love
I
that plane.
love
Don't
it,
get me
dude.
wrong.
That's
But
probably
I don't
top
know,
top
man.
two for me, top three.
I don't. I mean, TFTI, they're dope. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. They come from P3D, and
Hey, man.
it took
I,
them a while to get this MD11 out in the first place.
I don't
I
know,
don't
man.
know, man.
Obviously, if I gotta look, if I gotta put my planes in order of which one I like the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go with the Phoenix, number one, right? I think the Phoenix has done a very good job in pretty much everything. Like when you're talking about, you know, the way the plane looks, the way the plane performs, the tablet, the FMC or MIGDUs, I'm sorry, all that stuff, right? For example, it could be stupid for some people. Some people are like, oh, you don't need that anyway. But when you look at the EFB on the Phoenix, the only question that comes to my head is, why couldn't PMDG do this? Why can't we have an EFB at the level of Phoenix in the PMDG?
I agree.
Why do I gotta go in my FMC to change my plane state? Why do I gotta go to my FMC to turn on certain different panels or different switches, whatever the case is, right? You know what I'm saying? Change from kilograms to pounds. Why do I gotta do that on FMC and I gotta push buttons, change plate? Why can't you give me that access on my tablet, right? Now
I'm with
I'm
you.
not I'm not a developer, right? I don't know what it takes to do all that. It might take 2 days. It might take 2 years. I have no idea. But that's the first. I think that Phoenix has done that so much well than anybody else when it comes to that type of stuff. Like the 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 ease of access, the ease of, what I'm saying, that make it easy for you to get on the AFB and do the settings, do whatever it is you need to do, change all that stuff on there, and then your MIGDO is strictly for your MIGDO stuff. Flying the damn plane. It's not to turn on your tablet or turn off your tablet, right? That's not what the MIGDO is there for, right? So,
Mhm.
anyways, the GSX integration, I was just mentioned that actually just brought it to my attention. It's phenomenal, dude. You just click the little things. Okay, now load through GSX. It does everything, dude. Like, why can't everybody else do this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress. So number one will be the Phoenix, obviously PMDG very
That's
shortly
gonna
after.
break though. That's definitely gonna
Um,
break.
you think the Phoenix is gonna break too?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I
you
see
got
chat talking about it too. I agree. I
why
think
don't you have any?
I love the Phoenix, bro. I agree. I think Phoenix is actually probably the best plane to exist on Microsoft right now. But because of its complexity and the fact that it depends on ProSim, which is a super outdated P3D program, that when whatever, I don't know, like whatever happens with
Yeah,
2024, some code somewhere is gonna cross and hotwire itself, and it's just gonna break it somehow. We still got pink people in the back sometimes with GSX, right? So it's like Phoenix is such a complex product. That's why it's so great, and because of
bro.
that reason,
I'm
I
gonna cry,
think
man. I'm
I
gonna
hope
cry.
not. I hope
I'm
not. I
I'm
hope
gonna
not.
cry, bro.
I mean, you
That's
do have a default
not good.
321 Neo now, so I mean, how much are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Speaking of Airbus, though, nobody's talking about fly by wire. That's gonna break, guaranteed, because the that's a mod of the default A320 from 2020, which is not even going to exist in 21 and 24. Think about that.
I noticed that. What happened? What happened with the V2 from Interbuild?
No, it's still there. V2 is in the standard edition. That is now the default, the only 320 Neo that will be
The V1
in
is not there
Microsoft
anymore. Gotcha.
24.
Oh no.
V1
But
is gone, which is what Fly-by-Wire is building off of. So my question is, what
is it
happens to the
dependent
Fly-by-Wire
on? Is it
320 Neo?
dependent? Is it dependent on the V1?
The 3D model is.
I have so here's what's strange to me, right? On my sim, I uninstalled the V1. It's gone, but I can still fly the fly by wire.
Yep.
How's that possible? Because if I uninstall the I'll give you an example. If I uninstall the 787 Dreamliner from the sim, the Asobo, the Horizon mod is not going to work anymore.
Hmm.
But I uninstalled the V1. I still have the V2 installed. I uninstalled the V1 from Asobo. The V2 is still there, and my fly-by-wire still works just fine.
You know,
There may
maybe
be
they got it
hope.
covered.
There may be hope.
There may be hope. Chad is also saying the E-jets are gonna break. I agree with that. That's definitely gonna break.
Well, the E-jet already. Don't get me
It's
started
already
on it.
broke.
Well, why are you? Who said
Okay,
that? Who
I know
said that?
CNC
It's
can go in
them.
on that.
It's
Let's not
them.
even
It's
go there. That's a whole other
ban
podcast.
ban that guy. Who's that guy? Tell me right now. He's
That's a
he's
whole
leaving
other.
my
That's a
chat
whole
right
other
now,
podcast.
bro. The E-jets are not even fixed yet. They're still broke. So don't even miss me with the nonsense. All right.
Oh
Anyways,
my god.
the 321 LR
Oh
will hold you
man.
over CST. I hope so, Maki. I
We'll
hope it
see.
will.
Hopefully, man.
Fly-by-wire
Hopefully.
380. When is it? I wouldn't even know how to answer that question. Did my stream just quit?
It's buffering. I think we're back.
Okay,
I
we're
think
back. We're good. We just had a little lag here. So going to the 380, like I tried it. I sat down with the fly-by-wire, took a look at the 380, and if I got to give you my honest opinion of that plane at the expo, not today, at the expo, I would say that the thing was the farthest away from being done than anything I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
It wasn't even close, bro. It wasn't even close to being done. Um, a lot of switches didn't even work. You spool up the power and the gauges the gauge wouldn't move. I mean, there was so much that was going on that it's too big to list, man. There was so much things that just were not working. And everything the guys keep telling me, he was sitting right beside me. Oh yeah, that's gonna. We're working on that right now. Yeah, we're fixing that right now. And then I'm like, oh, let me see what the cabin looks like. No cabin. There was like 3 row seats there, and I was like, okay.
There was no cabin at FLIGHTBEAM.
There was some cabin. It wasn't finished yet, right? So they were working on that. I'm not trying to put them down. I'm just saying
Right.
I don't think we're gonna see that plane anytime soon. That's all I'm saying, right? I've always in the past I've always kept my hope ups, and I'll always end up, taking the road the taking a downfall, I guess, if you want to call it that way. Like I'm expecting something is gonna get to me and I'm gonna love it, and then it's like, no, nope, it's not there. It's never, another year or
Yeah.
so. So I don't hold my breath no more when it comes to this type of stuff, man. I'm always like, you know what? Whenever it releases, it releases. I'm not gonna try and figure out when, how, who. I don't have that type of pull. I can't go up to Fly-by-Wire and be like, hey, man, what are you thinking? That they wouldn't tell me anyway. But hey. And I don't know anybody that has that type of knowledge. And then
Yeah.
I will tell you, I will
But
tell you this as well. When it comes to planes like the 380, for example, um, it is not really one of the planes that anticipating, if you know what I mean. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait until I get the Airbus 380 because I'll tell you why. Because that's not a plane that I'm going to fly from San Diego to LAS or from LAS to Phoenix. That's a
Right,
plane that
right.
I need to get in and I need to fly from like JFK to Dubai, right? And
Yeah,
you'll
it's a
see me
long
do
hauler.
that. You'll see me do that once in like 6 months, right? So that's a plane that in a year I might fly maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't need that. Is it cool? It's a cool plane to have. Absolutely, 100%. I'd rather have the Airbus 220. I'd rather have some working E-jets. I'd rather have some ERJs. I'd rather have those planes, if you ask me, right? I'd rather have those planes that fit more of the average flight simmer that does little cool 2, 3 hours up at the most, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then once in a
Mhm.
while, we'll throw in a long haul, right? That's why I got my 777. That's why I got hopefully soon we'll have the 350 by Anybills. We'll have the 321 LR, right? In 2024, we can do some long hops with that as well. I think they take that over the pond now. Um, but yeah, that's my opinion, right? I'm not holding my breath for the 380. However, will it be cool to fly? Absolutely. I think it will be very awesome to fly. But it's not a plane that I'm going to fly on a regular basis. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So I don't.
I'm not getting all anxious for any planes anymore, man. It's
Yeah, yeah.
I've been in the flight sim community for so long. Like we waited for so long for the 777, so long for the 737, and it's just like we're always
Mm.
waiting and waiting for that next big release or aircraft. And it's like I'd rather just enjoy what I have right now and
So
do that. And when it comes, it comes. You know what I'm saying?
I think it is a interesting kind of question or conversation to go into. Um, let me make sure here you didn't. Let me make sure you didn't message me or something like, "Hey, wrap it up." All right, cool,
No, I
we're
didn't
good.
message you. You're good.
um, so speaking of different planes and stuff, right? Let's talk about this. When it comes to the 737 Max, we have iFly that's looking pretty decent, right? When you're talking pictures and looks, right? I don't know what the plane is going to functions like or what the system look like. I'm talking about looking at it, right? They're providing a lot of teasers and update, whatever you want to call them, right? Eye candy, whatever it is you want to call them, they're doing a lot of that. But we got iFly around the corner, we got PMDG with the Max, and we got a Sobo coming out here in a few months, right? November, actually a month, less than a month now, with their Max as well. So we got 3 Maxes potentially within the next month, right? Do you think we are going to get one of those three before 2024 drops? And if you was to put your money on it, right? Which one do you think are we going to get? Are we going to get the iFly Max or are we going to get the PMDG Max before 2024 drops? Or CST, forget about it. You're not getting any of it.
I would put my money on getting the iFly first before Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And then obviously 2024 will come out. We'll get that one. And I think PMDG will be the last one.
You don't think PMDG is gonna try to get to it before iFly gets to it?
Nah, I don't. I really
You don't
don't.
think you don't think they're worried about that? You don't think they ever crossed their mind? Like, Mr. Robert is over there, be like, hey guys, huddle up real quick. We got to talk about this iFly business. You don't think that happened in the
Probably. I
PMDG house?
mean, hmm. I don't know if they even pay attention to that stuff, to be honest with you.
You don't think so?
Um, they might.
That's
They
not what he
probably do.
said during his live stream. He said that he's very open and he talks to a lot of the developers.
Hmm.
That's straight from his mouth. So, hey, I don't know. I'm just saying, if I was Randazzo, right? If I was PMDG, right? And I had another developer breathing down my neck with the same plane, I would probably huddle up. I'd be like,
Yeah, I
hey,
agree.
bring it
If
in,
I was
bring it in,
them, if I was
right?
them, this is what I would do. If I was PMDG, I would take all of the energy away from the 777-2 or freighter and put it into the Max. And it basically would be a race to get it done before iFly and Microsoft Flights in 2024. Because I want to be the first one to drop
Right.
the Max.
You would
Obviously,
think,
we
right?
had that super old horrible Max from years ago that was not worth mentioning. But um, this next Max is gonna see a massive like attention. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter which one it is. I would if and the same thing for iFly. If iFly doesn't release their Max before 2024, the amount of people who will buy that is going to significantly drop. because when
Well,
Microsoft drops theirs, people don't necessarily need a Max anymore because now they have a perfectly good 737 Max. Now the iFly and the PMDG are going to be like, all right, this is now a above and beyond good
mhm,
Max. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was mentioning earlier. It's like the Max is going to be good enough. You're not going to need to have a third party because it's going to be that good. But what we expect and what we know from PMDG, which is better than what the default
of
one's going to be,
course.
that's what you're going to get. Now we don't even know what kind of quality we're getting with iFly. I've never even heard of them. Apparently
Mhm.
like they've been here since P3D or FSX. But this is my first time ever hearing of them, so I don't know what quality they bring to the table. I don't know what kind of features they bring to the table. High fidelity, how close it is to study level. I don't know anything about them or what they have to bring, and so we won't really know that until they either tell us or we get in our hands. And so I think that for all three of these companies, which obviously Microsoft already has a set date, but with that set date, I think it's important to drop a Max before then because I know I will buy it, right?
Well, yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
definitely buy it before. But
W
after Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 comes out and another Max comes out, now you're thinking, all right, well, cool, another Max is out, but is it now worth it? Because
Exactly.
now we have
I
our own
mean,
freedom, basically.
people like you, me, and possibly XP and other content creators, we do it because, in a sense, we have to do it, right? I will get the PMDG. I will get the fly. I will fly the Asobo. I will compare them. I will tell you what I feel does the best or does things better, right? And in a way, because I'm trying to help out the community into making a decision. Like, hey, should I buy the iFly? Should I buy the PMDG? Should I stick with the Asobo? But your average flight simmer, right? I already have a Max. Why would I go and spend money on another Max? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I
Um,
wouldn't. I mean, even as a streamer, I mean, I don't know what the timing is going to look like, right? But I know for a fact that doesn't matter how good or bad the default Max is going to be in Microsoft Flight
mhm.
Sim. I'm already planning on getting the 737 Max from PMDG because we know the
Oh,
quality they
100%.
offer. We know how good
100%.
that's going to be, and we know like I'm going to get that no matter what. Now the iFly one though is the only one where I'm kind of up in the air, like I'm not sure because I don't have any brand loyalty to
Mhm.
iFly. I don't know anything about them. I don't know what they're yeah. Like okay, cool. You have lights to turn on in the cabin. That's not new. That's not special.
Right, right. We haven't
But
seen nothing substantial yet, obviously.
exactly. So it's going to come
Um,
down to either getting my hands on it myself or watching other people fly it before I decide that
mhm,
I'm actually going to buy it because I don't need three Maxes. I don't even have all the 737s. I only have the 700 and the 800. I never bought the
mhm.
9 because like it's the same freaking plane, just
Yeah,
longer. Or
I'm
the
I'm that
6 and
guy, dude.
so,
I'm the
you know what
guy.
I'm
I got
saying? And
all. I
honestly,
got
I
all
would
of
have
it.
never
I
bought the
got it.
7. I would have never bought the 7 if the 8 had came out first. That's the only reason I have
Yeah,
the 7. Matter of fact, I don't have it installed anymore. I uninstalled the 7 because I don't
yeah.
use it.
I
I
got them
only
all.
fly the 8.
So let me tell you this about me. I got the DC. The DC. I think it's the DC6,
DC6.
right?
Yep, yep.
I got the DC6. Ask me how many times I've flown that plane. I'd
Maybe a
never
half a
flown it.
time.
I'd never flown it. Ever. I launched it in the game. I'm like, hey, that looks cool. All right, let's go fly
It is a
the other
beautiful
one.
plane, though.
It is
Like when you
beautiful,
just look
but
at it, oh, it's gorgeous.
never flown it. I need to be flying that thing.
I flew it once.
Um, so I think to close on the iFly, PMDG, and all the good stuff, I think that between all of them, right? I think that, well, first of all, I like to say that not from me, from my experience, but I've talked to people that have flown the iFly on P3D days, the Max, and they all say good things. It was a good plane. It did what it was supposed to. Blah 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 blah. Now make of that what you want. Obviously, that doesn't
But
mean
so did
that.
Captain Sim back
Heck,
then.
I was about to say that. I was about to
Captain
say
Sim
that.
back in the
I don't know.
day, back in
I don't
P3D,
know
was
if
a
you guys
respectable
remember
company that people really
PT3
are
and
liked.
FSX, right? FSX as well, right?
Yeah. Look at them
So
now.
yeah, look at that
Friggin'
good
planes.
look at the good quality stuff. Um, but what I was gonna say was that I think the only people that have anything to lose in this would be iFly, if you ask me. I think that their best interest is to release not only before 2024, but mostly before PMDG, right?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of people that already know what PMDG is all about. And when the PMDG Max drops and they buy that Max, I don't think they're going to be like, oh, the iFly is out now. Let me go buy the Fly. I don't think that's going to happen. So they will lose a lot, I think, in that respect. But yeah, My opinion, obviously, nothing to do with what's the realism or whatever, the real story, right?
Yeah.
Um, Shut up, phone. Sorry about that. Oh, go figure. It's a scam. All right, cool.
Of course. Captain Scam calling you.
It's Captain Scan calling me. Be like, hey, what are you talking about my
Why are
plane
you
about?
talking about us?
Oh,
Oh
we
my
got
god.
Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 coming up before the release of GTA 6. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
hmm
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
See, Mikey D says iFly needs to be dropped first, or else they will lose. Absolutely, man. That's exactly
Facts.
what
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying. Yeah.
That honestly, the passive failure of that project could be just them releasing in a timely manner. I mean, again, we don't know.
hmm
It could actually be. It might be better than PMDG. It's possible,
Yeah.
right? We just
I
don't
mean
know
that
that.
here's another way to look at it. There's some people that say like AB943 here says I'm looking forward to something different than PMTG. I hope iFly makes them just keep getting better.
Yes.
Exactly. Because
Yes.
I think in this business, like any business, competition is the number one thing, right? I think once you throw some competition in there, you're gonna drive people to not only go better and higher, but maybe faster, right? Who knows? Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I was gonna ask you if you had anything else to add as far as I think we covered everything that came up on the chat. Hey, guys, if I missed any of your questions, I think we're gonna go probably. What do you think, Blue? Got another 5-10 minutes at the most.
Yeah, yeah. If you, I got time for a few more questions.
Yeah, if you guys got any questions, throw them up in the chat. I think I saw something about what most excites you about 20. We already talked about that. Uh,
Yeah, I fly
yeah,
pricing too. We don't know what the pricing is gonna be.
yeah, we don't. They haven't even said anything about that. That was Tom Sue here. PMDG will call. I think PMDG is probably going to be around the same that we always expect, 70 to 80 bucks for a plane, right?
That
And
price
I
could
think,
drop if there's competition though.
he could, yeah, yeah. Very. I mean, if iFly comes out with their plane first and they charge you 50 bucks, right? Try to beat that, right?
Mhm.
Here's Oscar Sierra for a question for Blue. Do you think Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 will have perfectly integrated built-in live AI traffic, IRL traffic at airports and in the air? I think they talked about that, but I don't know.
It won't be perfect. It'll be far from perfect, but they are gonna have better and improve AI traffic. They talked about working on that quite a lot. I don't know how good that's going to work. It's still going to be based on like flight radar data and stuff like that. But I wouldn't personally see a massive improvement from what we got now. But I did not get a chance to really see much. Only time I saw traffic while I was flying in the sim was when I was landing back in my home airport. I saw two 320s taxiing off of the runway, kind of like right behind each other. Like, so it's definitely some work to do there still. But yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up too high about that one.
I don't think it's going to be like. I think AI traffic will probably be one of those things that's not polished right out of the box, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And I mean, AI traffic, we still have with the built-in AI traffic in the sim, you still have the issues, right? And in
yep,
our current sim, and it's been out for what, 4 years?
yep.
So, um, yeah, I'm not big on AI traffic. First of all, so I'll be the wrong person to ask because I never use AI traffic. I know. I think you use FSLTL, right? I see
I
a lot
do.
of
I use it every single flight.
right.
So I'm big
I
on AI traffic, but I've never been
right.
big on the in game, like
Yeah,
the default one. So
I always just do the VATSIM thing, dude. If there's traffic there, great. If not, it is what it is.
yeah, I just hate empty
Uh,
airports. I can't stand it.
yeah.
I can't
Well,
stand the empty airports.
I don't know. I don't know if you ever tried this. One time, what I did, and I did it for a little bit, and then I stopped doing it. I modified the injector on FSLTL to only show parked aircraft. So I would have parked aircraft at the airport, but the aircraft that actually be taxiing around, that'd be only VATSIM type aircraft. The only thing that I didn't like about it was the minute I saw a VATSIM guy taxiing over an FSLTL plane to go park, I was like, turn that shit off. I can't have that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just kills my
that is
immersion, dude.
annoying.
It just kills
Yeah.
it for me. So Um, and then Flight Sim is very upset about the career mode and all the good stuff. he said, he says, "How many
I'm looking
simmers?"
forward to character customization. I am one of those simmers who will definitely, when I get my hands on the sim again, I will spend an hour customizing, creating my character. I am that guy. Yes, that is me. And
So you
every
know,
game I've ever played where you can make your own character, I'm always like, all right, I got to get just right, get the outfit. You know what I'm saying? So, and then
yeah.
I mean, I'll probably go back and change it too. So, but yeah,
So the thing
I'm one of
is,
them.
that's one of those features that's in the sim now that if you don't like it, don't do it, right? I mean, if you don't want a character, if you don't want to adjust the hair and the goatees and the clothes on your character, you don't have to do that. You
One thing
really
they
don't
do need
have.
to they do need to fine tune is the co-pilot. So if you're in free flight, your co-pilot is randomized. Like in 2020
Hmm.
right now, you choose a co-pilot, like a specific co-pilot to be
Yep.
with you. You can probably do it in 2024. I didn't get to mess with the settings, but when we played it, it was set to random, and so every time you hopped into an aircraft, you saw a different co-pilot, different
Okay.
person wearing different, like a male, female, different nationality. Just different clothes, and sometimes the clothes looked weird. Like I had a guy wearing like a captain's top and a pink pants. I was like, this is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. I
So
saw that one. I
hopefully
saw
they
that.
can they can fine tune that. But I don't hate the idea of a randomizer. It's like you get a new co-pilot every time, but they gotta adjust that a little
At
bit.
least wear the right clothes, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like wear the right clothes for the right job, right? Yeah.
Right. Uh, Enon says sounds a lot like Fortnite.
You know what? I was talking to somebody. It'd be cool if
Um,
we could see each other's actual avatars walking around and then do like emotes. Now, again, that's game stuff, right? We all talk about this as a sim versus a game. Well, you can add game elements to make it fun for multiplayer and whatnot, but I would like to see that in the future.
that would
Microsoft
be
Flight Sim
awesome.
being able to walk around and see CST walking to his plane over there doing his walk around. You know what I'm
Wouldn't
saying?
that
Like
be
that'd be
cool?
freaking
Yeah.
sick. That'd be dope, man. I wave at like, hey man, where you flying today? Like, yeah, I'm going out to Phoenix. All right, dope, man. I'm going to freaking
So
Amsterdam.
so so before we move on to the next question, I don't know if you ever remember the old. I don't know if you can still do it to this day, but in some of those EA games in the past, Madden and FIFA and all this stuff, you could create your character by taking a picture of your face,
Yep.
front shot, side shot, upload
Yep.
it, and it'd be you in the game. Like
It was weird
obviously
though.
a lot more
It looked
fit,
really weird.
a lot more fit
It
than me,
looked-
right? A lot more fit than me,
yeah.
but it had somewhat of my aspect, right? I'm pretty sure that with mods, that's probably going to be something that you're going to be able to do in 2024. Some modder out there is going to figure out a way to get in there, right? And put your face on the character. So it's going to happen,
And
especially
that
now
that
that
that's what comes back to that question someone asked earlier, like, what am I most excited about? It's like stuff like that. It's like the possibilities that we can extend 2024 now because now we
right.
have characters. Now, yes, everybody doesn't care about that, but for those people who do, you're now gonna probably see completely modded characters, putting like famous
Hmm.
people into the sim, putting streamers in the sim, putting whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
now possible because of the new tech that's underneath in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. That's just
Yeah.
one of the many things that people can do now.
I'm dude. I was asked like what excites me the most about the sim. I couldn't come up with one thing. I was like everything, dude. Just everything. I don't care what it is that if when I get the sim and there's something that I really don't care about, I just don't do it. I do the rest of it. There's you know some people are like, oh, what's the this career stuff or this mission stuff? That's all gaming. Well, there is a realism aspect to it. There's real aerial firefighting. It's so cool now. We can do it in the sim. Same thing goes along with heli transport or rescue missions, right? That's all real life stuff that you can now go do in the sim. Why haven't we done it in 2020? We couldn't do it in 2020, really, unless it was a mod. Now it's native in the sim, and it looks damn good, if you ask me.
Can I
Uh,
respond
yeah,
to Anon Flight Simmer real quick? So he has a point that I think is a very common concern by a lot of people in the flight sim community, in the
yeah, go for it.
hardcore flight
Go
sim
for
community.
it.
So he says, I fear that flight sim will die if we encourage all of the gaming crap. I'm not mad, it's just an inevitability of the progression. All of this effort adds nothing to simming. And he's right, because it doesn't add anything to simming, it doesn't add anything to the flying experience. But it does add to the community side. And one way I want to kind of respond to that is, if you think about real world aviation, there's a lot of really cool events. So we'll say, for example, what happens all the time: you'll fly to a fly-in meetup group. You know what I'm saying? Like out in the middle of nowhere, and you guys go out there and just go camp together. Camping has nothing to do with aviation. Camping has nothing to do with getting your private pilot license. It's a way of interacting with people in a community. And I
Hmm.
think, yes, it's a game feature, right? But why do we have to separate? Why can't we have fun in our flight sim as well as not just always be serious? You know what I mean? And so that's why I like the idea of like flying, like doing the exact same thing in flight sim. Like, is it a game because I can fly to a campground and I can get out of my plane and pitch a tent and make a fire? Is it a game because I could do that? But I did the flight sim part, right? I did the
You flew. You
I
flew.
got the real aerodynamics getting to, I had to actually spot the spot, fly around the location, make sure there's no rocks, because that's all collision now. I had to actually land the plane using real aerodynamics and updrafts, going over trees and coming off of mountains, things like that. Like, it's all that flight sim elements are there, and we've just added the ability to now connect as a community with these other various little things. Now, everything is not community, right? But still, it's just like these other little things that add to your immersion, add to the enjoyment of flying. And these are the kind of things that also attract people who are not necessarily hardcore flight simmers, but someday will graduate and become hardcore flight simmers. A really interesting number that's been going around a lot since we went to the event was, I might have the numbers wrong, but it's like 15 million unique users of Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim, since 2020 came out. And guess
Hmm.
how many are hardcore flight simmers like me, CST, and Anon? I think it's like 3 million.
Yeah.
That's it. We are not the majority. You know what I'm saying? And so when you see them making decisions like this, I completely understand why, but I'm thankful for the developers, like Jorg and the leader of Asobo, who are, when I talk to them, I can see that they have us, the hardcore simmer, in mind. Right. When I talk to the other guy, Daniel, who was the creative director, who he's also, has us in mind, but like, he's creating features to attract a new audience and bring them into the flight sim community. If Microsoft
Hmm.
Flight Sim had not done what they did, if we only stick with X-Plane, we would still be a community of probably 500,000 or something, whatever the number is. I don't know what the actual number is. You know what I'm saying? But like, we would still be a super tiny little community, all over
Yeah.
here in this little corner to ourselves. You know what I mean? Arguing about 737 Maxes and things like that, right? But now we've brought in 15 million new people into the community who bring in various interests and activities, and some of them will just come in and leave. Some of them will come and be like, "This is cool. I didn't know you could be a firefighter. I didn't know I could be." I didn't know I could do tornado hunting in a plane. Like, these are not game modes. These are career paths that you can take in real life.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
this is one thing I talked to Jorg face to face, one on one, the same name as this podcast, about about, there's companies out there who are asking Microsoft Flight Sim, hey, can you show our career, like our job, because we need help. We need more helicopter firefighter pilots. We need
Hmm.
more people doing this, and that. And it's like, this is a way of bringing awareness to all of the different types of aviation careers that exist besides just airliner and flying, packages around. And so I fully support that. That's something that's honestly been one of my goals for a while now, is when I discovered all the really cool aviation careers, not just flying, but like dispatching, ramp agents, ATC traffic controller. Like, there's a lot of really freaking dope, cool aviation jobs out there that exist that a lot of us just did not know existed. I know, wrong side simulations. I had no idea that dispatching was an opportunity out there for
Oh
aviation
yeah.
people until I talked to him, and I was like, "This is a really freaking cool job," and that's exactly what Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 is doing with the career mode. And again, obviously, you don't have to use it if you don't want to use it. You
Right.
can go into free flight and do your usual A to B flight from Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta. You know what I mean? And so, if that's what you want to do, you can do that. They're not taking that away. They're not taking anything away from what 2020 was. They're just adding to it, improving on it. And that's really,
Exact.
in a nutshell, what 24 is.
Exactly. I mean, well said, man. Everything, and that's precisely why I say what I say when I hear stuff like what Anon says. It's like whatever it is that you don't like about the new sim, you still have what you had before and more, right? Like you said, they're not taking anything away from you. In an interview that I was watching, I forget if it was one of your, I think it was one of your interviews that you did with him, and he literally stated that they are aware, they have all the numbers, they have all the data, right? And they are aware that 80% of the flight sim community flies in free roam, 100%. So so why create career modes? Why do missions? Why do this and that and the other? Right? Why bring all that extra stuff to the sim if 80% only wants to free roam? Well, I'll tell you what. Because what's better than 80%? 100%. Right? Capture the rest of the community, right? Capture the rest of those 20% of people that want to do other stuff. They want to do career mode. They want to do rescue missions. They want to do firefighting missions. They want to do that type of stuff. They want a blimp. They want a hot air balloon, right? That's flight simming. That thing flies. That thing flies, right? That's flight
Yep.
simming, right? I mean, so the thing is, only because you can go in the sim in November, right? Hopefully November 19th, and get into a higher balloon and hover, go fly over the Sahara Desert in a hot air balloon, taking pictures of lions. I don't think that makes it any less of a flight sim than it was today. You see what I'm saying? If that makes any
I think
sense.
too, to continue your point, like I said earlier, they're not taking anything away from the sim, right, in free mode. And another thing
Right.
in response to him as well is he's worried that adding these other things will take away from the flight sim experience or the flight or it being a flight sim. And think about it this way: as a company over there, the company that's building this flight sim, right? They have dedicated departments in certain areas. Now, if they were not creating a career mode, what would those people do?
Yeah.
Like, they don't know how to make a flight model. They don't know how to all the things that the hardcore artist is complaining about. They don't know anything about that stuff. The people who know about that stuff are working on that stuff, and they're putting all their time and effort on working on making the sim better, as the way it flies, aerodynamics, weather. Like they're working on all that. The people in the creative department who are making the career mode and things like that, they don't know what the heck they don't know how to do any of that, and so they're adding additional things to the sim that you can do. And one of the things that he told us too is that yes, actually the correct number was 95% people were using
Not,
was it
yeah,
95?
that's it.
95% were using free mode. But the thing is, what he didn't mention was of that 95% of people who are using free mode, how many of those people um are like just how much time are they spending on it?
Yeah.
Because another statistic they told us was that the majority of what was it? I believe I'm not sure if he told us this statistic or not, but what I believe is the hardcore audience are the ones who spend the most time in the sim,
Right.
right? Versus the arcade people. The arcade gamers, they come in, they do the little challenges, and they're in there for like an hour, maybe an hour, and they're out. They get bored. They have nothing to do.
Hmm.
And so what they're trying to do is that for all those people, which is the majority of people, right, who come and play the game, play the sim, and they get in there, and currently in 2020, they're just like, hey, all right, I've done all the push trips, and challenges, and discovery flights. What do I do now? Us as hardcore simmers, we can hop in any day and be like, all right, I'm gonna do this Southwest flight. All right, I'm gonna do this GA
Yep.
flight. Like we find things to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we are woke, I guess you could say, in the flight sim.
Sure.
But the arcade people don't know what to do, and so this is basically creating something for them to do and keep them occupied for a longer period of time. It's just honestly just it's basic game design is giving people something to do.
Sure.
Um, Microsoft has as a Microsoft as a core is a sandbox. Same thing with X-Plane. It's a sandbox. It's just, hey, here's a simulator. There's planes. Do what you want to do with it.
Yep.
That's it. No direction. There's no tutorial how to start. It's just like imagine when you get into X-Plane for the first time. You're just like, all right, I got the world. All right, where am I gonna go? To my hometown, I guess.
Let's do it.
And then you go to your hometown again, and then you're like, all right, what do I do now? What's CST doing? I'll fly with him.
Yeah.
But and what they're like I said, what they're doing, they're just creating a path, giving you something, giving you options and things to do. And I firmly, strongly stand behind the idea of giving people something to do. I'm the same way. I've been flight simming for all these years, and I've been everywhere. There's nowhere that I'm like, nowhere. I mean, I get excited to go places, but I've been everywhere, and so I still now. That's why I play Neofly. That's why I play Simbit World. That's why I play um, all these different career mode add-ons because I need myself something, a purpose. Right? I when I go fly, even if it's an airliner, I'm like, all right, well, am I just flying there for the heck of it, or like am I progressing some way? Like, give me a sense of accomplishment, a sense of progression when I fly, and that's what that gives you as well. So yeah, I'll leave it
Yeah,
at
I
that.
think that's a good touch actually. That sense of progression, the sense, okay, I accomplished this today. It's but
Like flying
and
for a
to
virtual airline,
right, to
like
make it even better,
yeah.
you're gonna have that type of stuff in the sim. If that's what you want to do, you can do career mode, right? You don't have to do career mode every day. If you get up one day, you're like, you know what, I don't want to work on my PPL today. I'm just gonna go do a flight. You can do that.
Mhm.
The fact that you can do all these additional things in the sim now, like taking photos or go looking for animals, or that's what I'm
I'm
trying to.
definitely gonna do. I'm gonna
Right,
go.
me too. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
I'm
go
gonna do all
hunting.
that stuff. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
try
go.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
man.
You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about, honestly, the when it comes to that type of stuff, like the whatever you want to call them, missions or whatever they call. I think they call missions. The things that I'm more excited about that is the search and rescue stuff, right? I think that's gonna be cool. The weather stuff, the tornado chasing stuff, I think that's gonna be cool.
Mhm.
The other stuff, the other. Okay, cool. I'll try it, but I think search and rescue is one of the ones that I want to try right away. And the reason why is it goes back to, I think, what I've done in my life. Right, I've actually teached at in rescue swimmer school, so I was
Mm,
kind of in contact with those search and rescue personnel and
that's
people. Right,
cool.
so I've done that in my past, and I'm very passionate about that type of stuff. So I want to try that out. But yeah, the fact that I can walk around the world and see an animal walk by, right? That excites me. I don't know why. It does.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of
I
those
don't know
things
why
that
either. It's a flight sim, but
because
I'm excited about
because
seeing animals.
when you're talking about when you're talking about a full immersion, that's even more immersion right there, right?
Yeah,
The wildlife, I mean, one of my question was, are we going to be able to see whales and dolphins and stuff like that in the
that I
water?
don't know, man. But
How
I don't
cool
see
would
why we
that
couldn't.
be,
Why?
bro?
How would we go?
You
Oh,
know,
that'd be sick. That would
how
be
cool
sick.
would that be? You just
I could
flying
have swore.
a
Was it
1,000 foot off
Microsoft
the,
Flight?
on top of the water, and next
Is
thing you see a freaking dolphin jumping out the water or something. Dude, that would be so freaking
Bro,
amazing,
there's
dude.
definitely gonna be a sea life pack. I tell you what, somebody's making a third party sea life pack. That's gonna happen for sure. That'd be
I
dope.
heard, I heard,
I haven't. I go ahead.
I heard one of the interviews that one of the guys. I don't know if it was, I keep butchering his name. Horg, Horg. I don't know if
Jorg.
it was him or somebody else. Horg. I don't know if it
Jorg.
was him or somebody else. He's probably gonna kill me, dude. Um, but I heard him say that the water has physics, but planes cannot sink in the water, meaning it doesn't go that far, right? I don't know if that makes sense.
It's probably gonna be like it is right now. Like if you were to just like you turn collision off and you land in the water and just stop, like your
It's just
plane
gonna
would literally
float,
be it just sits there in the
right?
water. So I don't know if they changed that, but if you have floats on the plane, right, it's gonna actually it's gonna realistically go with the current and things like that.
So I guess what I
Um,
was trying to get to is, if objects cannot go in the water, then how are you gonna do that type of
There's
marine
ways to
life?
trick it.
Yeah,
There's
we'll
ways
see.
for
We'll
sure.
see.
I had an idea myself, and some of these ideas kind of spur from like Discovery Channel, just videos and shows that I've seen. But like, imagine taking a small bush plane or something like that out to Alaska and landing in an area, putting your tent down, and then starting to go search for a certain type of animal or moose or something like that. Like,
Like
but
a
you
mission
would
type stuff.
I don't even think this is a real mission. It's just something you'd have to do
Yeah.
because the where animals show up is based on real world like
Hmm.
data, like how they migrate and stuff like that. So you would have to actually do your research on the migration
Yeah.
patterns of like an elk or a moose, and then go and hunt them down in flight sim. And like the idea of doing that will definitely take time and patience, but like I feel like once you did, like if you found them, you'd be pretty excited. Plus, your plane will be muddy as heck. Landing in the
I
dirt.
think
So,
it just opens up so much more than just, hey, let's do the southwest flight, like you were
right,
saying, or
just
whatever.
planes
You can
can
still
do
do
so
that.
much.
You can still
Planes can
do
do so
that,
much and
but
take you
there's
to
so
so
much
many
more. Yeah,
places.
there's so much more, dude.
And that's what Microsoft is trying to do. It's like, yeah, it's not like adding to the simulation of an aircraft, but it is adding to the world that we can simulate those aircraft in. And I'm cool with it, man. I mean, maybe I drank the Microsoft Kool Aid, but I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? So.
I'm drinking the Kool Aid right now, dude. I don't care. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
man.
I think the other thing that has been good for Microsoft so far, with attracting so much more of whatever you want to call it, the gaming aspect, the mission aspect. I think that's part of the reason why we're able to talk about having a new sim in November, right? Because if we wouldn't have this additional
That's
15
true.
million people that join our community, Microsoft would not have the money to develop a new sim. So
Ultimately,
that's
Xbox wouldn't
you know what
care,
I'm
and they
saying?
would probably have fired everybody at Sobo
Exactly.
and Microsoft because we didn't get enough money back. So honestly,
So
we should
the
be thanking the gamers. You know, instead of like instead of pushing
yeah,
them away and making fun of them and making them feel bad, we should really be thanking
no,
them for trying our hobby,
hell
trying our
yeah,
sim, and
that's what I'm
adding to
saying.
our ecosystem. Because thanks to them, we have a new version of Microsoft Flight Sim coming out in a month or so.
Absolutely, brother. Keep buying those Captain Sim. Keep buying those
Yeah,
Breedocs.
man.
Keep doing it. Keep at it, brother. You know, you got that Breedoc, the new 380 that just came out. Go get it, man. That thing is, mwah. No, I'm just playing. Don't do.
Hey, the
Any,
ones who do buy it don't know any better. They're not
yeah,
watching this podcast. They're not watching our live streams. They're just on the Xbox and they see a 737 Max in the marketplace. They're like, "Ooh, a Max! I like Maxes," and they just buy it.
yeah.
You know, so that's
Hey,
who's buying those.
I'm not even gonna hide it. I got the Breedoc Max.
I
That was
think I
one
did
of the.
too.
That was. I mean, when I bought the Breedoc Max, that was not announced in the sim. You see what I'm saying? That was it, right? And I think I have one. Not I think I know I have one or two of the Latin VFR Airbuses
Mhm.
because somebody
Well,
tricked me
I
into
wouldn't
buying
put
them.
Latin VFR on the same level as Breedog.
Well, no, but it's not. It's not Phoenix, right?
Yeah, it's not Phoenix.
But somebody was like, "Hey, man, you buy this plane and you put the Horizon mud in it. It's perfect." I wouldn't say perfect, but anyways, I'm not even gonna go there. All right. Well, I think that's about it, man. I think what's the update on the 7.5 and 7.6? Wisdom, we already touched on that. The 7.5. There's a video that just dropped, Bluebird simulation YouTube channel. Go check it out. That just showcased the sounds, but I don't think we're gonna see a 7.5 in the sim until probably next year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining us on today one-on-one. It's been fun. It's been awesome. Um, I really do appreciate all the likes. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the questions. Hopefully this will not be the last time we see Blue Games on the
Yeah,
good old
hopefully
one-on-one.
not.
Maybe after 2024 comes out, we can get together and kind of talk about what went wrong, what went right, what's good, what's
Right?
bad, and all that good stuff. I'm pretty sure there's going
Are
to be a
we
lot
wrong
more.
about all this stuff we're talking
Yeah,
about? Like,
right,
is it
right.
going to be horrible? Is it going to be a
We
disaster?
we can do another show and we'll be like, I'm sorry guys, yeah, we were full of crap,
We were
but
wrong.
anyway, I
Go back
think
to
I think
explain.
I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great. I'm not expecting it to be flawless right out the gate, um, like anything else, but I'm expecting that it's not gonna be in the same state that Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 was day one. I think it's gonna be far more than that. It's gonna be way better than that, I think. But anyways, I will say to everybody, thank you so much for coming. And as always, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, like the stream. And yeah, I'll see you probably tomorrow on my live stream. And I will let Mr. Blue Games do his um, trademarked sign out and tell us goodbye in his own words. And I will just mute my mic and I salute you all, guys.
Well, of course, CST, huge thank you, man, for having me. Very humbled to be on the show. Great guy. Super excited and happy to meet you in person at Expo. Definitely want to encourage you, man. I'm loving what you're doing here with the podcast, with the channel. I see a super, super bright future for you and the channel. I think we're going to see a lot of you in the flight sim community moving forward. And I think, honestly, you bring a lot of value as well to the community. So I want to just let you know, man, that you're doing your thing. Keep it up. Stay encouraged. Don't give up. And yeah, of course, thank you guys for watching the one-on-one with Blue Games podcast today. Flight Sim discussion. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 is coming up soon. We're both very excited about it. But we'll talk more about that later. Until next time, guys, remember you got three choices: give up, give in, or give it all. You got peace, love, and God bless you. We'll see you guys next time. Next video. We out.